It is your Wednesday night sports delight, the platform sports talk show. I am your boy Smooth.
Your girl Bunny.
And Jovo.
Because when it's about sports,
You know what? Who business it becomes? Ours. Go figure.
Joe, you up?
Oh, and business just keeps picking up.
There you go. Ladies, how y'all doing on this wonderful Wednesday?
Doing great. Cardinals haven't lost a game since we spoke last, so
I know, right?
that's pretty fun.
Hey, great times right now if you are a St. Louis Cardinal fan. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Glad to have y'all here on again another Wednesday, your Wednesday night sports delight. Make sure y'all go ahead and share this stream right now to all your peoples. We have an incredible show for y'all in store. Man, I'm so excited, man. I had on Twitter, Joe, about the Cardinals, and I'm like at a loss for words because of how well they're doing. So, hey, like I said before, shut me up. I had no problem. Being corrected or being wrong. I just want to see us win, and that's what we're doing right now. Is all we do is win, no matter what. And 10th row, exactly. I'm down with it. So, once again, hit that like, hit that share. If you're on Twitter, like and retweet. If you're on Facebook, just share it, like it as well. On YouTube, you have to subscribe. Click on that.
Good old bell.
Because anytime we go live, Joe,
you will be notified.
Hey, there we go. So, Bunny, how
What
you doing
up?
this?
Besides being fat, I'm happy to be alive. What can I say?
You feeling good?
I'm better, but once I stop feeling like a turkey, then it'll be awesome.
When's your due date? Do we know that?
It's November 23rd, which is a couple days before Thanksgiving. I've been told I'm not going to make it that long. We shall see.
So, are you going to have a Scorpio baby?
I don't know. Like, if she comes on your birthday, I'm going to miss out on a whole bunch of your birthday parties.
At the greatest birthday ever.
But I'm going to miss it on the adult festivities. I'm going to have to change it to kid festivities.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm missing on all your parties because I'm going to have to do her birthday party. So.
Yeah. Hey, if you have a Scorpio, congratulations. Let me add Joe back in.
Sorry,
there we
I was
go.
choking on water. It's supposed to be good for you.
Man down. Okay, man back up.
It's supposed to be good and healthy for you, but man, tries to kill me at least once a day.
No.
Yeah, so other than that, outside of pregnancy, anything else going on in your world, Bunny?
That's a chunk of my world.
Yeah, that usually takes up all of it.
Just saying, just waddle along here, waddle along there, limited what I can do physically. So yeah, just a lot of chunk of my world right there.
Are you I don't know if you went out a lot whenever you weren't pregnant, but whenever I was pregnant during COVID, I didn't really go anywhere. Is that how you're doing it?
Well, but stuff has opened up more this year than last year. But I've just gone to family functions and we haven't had as many anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm definitely like, I don't stress myself to go to this event or this event. I pick and choose how I feel literally. So I missed a couple of birthday parties, missed a couple of this. It's like, or it's like a family function. I have left early because I'm tired. I don't have a guilt trip of, I don't have it anymore. I used to be here, there, support this part, support that part, this, that. Now
I just want to sleep. Yep.
Yeah. And then, like I said,
I made Brendan do all that stuff, like go grocery shopping and everything whenever I was pregnant.
You know what's funny though? So pregnant 2018, I started doing grocery pickup back then. So before the pandemic, when like everybody got hip to it, I was already doing it. I did it later in the pregnancy, but I was so thankful. So I had to see inside of a store, order it online, pick it up. when the pandemic hit, I'm like, all these people are hip to it now, and the wait how long before I get the grocery. I'm like, ain't this some crap? But thank goodness it's still around. They're better at it again. So yes, honey. I was in Walmart last week for the first time. I don't know how many months because I use just to pick up. Convenience is key.
So if I'm correct, both of y'all are having or had pandemic babies. Well, I know Bunny has one on the way. Then I got married during the pandemic. So hey, pandemics don't stop us, right?
Nope. It's all different. It's very different though from whenever my sisters had babies and to what it was like for me. It was different, and then I imagine your wedding was different. Obviously, you had your thing out in Vegas, and then had something small here in St. Louis. But like, I couldn't imagine doing that because we have a very big family. So I don't know what it would have been like if we got married during all this.
Yeah.
But definitely having a baby was different. Like, I would love to have my mom there, but we made it work.
Yeah, because like my mom, she, we was willing to go ahead and pay for, her trip to come from St. Louis to Vegas, but she wasn't trying to deal with, of course, with the pandemic and trying to be around thousands of people in airports and stuff like that. So she just wanted to go ahead and chill and watch the wedding on the stream like y'all seen it. So so I definitely understand different times right now. You ain't trying to be caught up in all that mess, you know what I'm saying? People still being, irresponsible in regards to how they govern themselves in regards to the pandemic. I think the main thing is, and I think we had the discussion before a few weeks ago, but it just seems like people continue to forget that it's not just about you.
Yeah.
It's not just about you. Okay, well, I'm good. So, no, it's like, what about the other person who may be who can't take a whiff of any of a virus or whatever, who could be what's the word I'm trying to think of right now, immune to it, you know what I'm saying, or not immune to it. So it just have to keep that mindset of it's not just about you. Then I think we'll be in a better place. Speaking of which, the Blues, they announced last week, I believe, and truthfully, I think every team, no matter if it's basketball, no matter if it's football, baseball, well, I think football may be different because they'd be in the outdoor stadium unless you're in the dome. But it looks like all these major professional teams are taking that route of you must be vaccinated or have proof of COVID free. What are y'all thoughts on that?
You talking about the fans?
The fans must show proof.
I mean, I figured it was going to happen all over the place. Even a couple weeks ago when I went to the Jonas Brother concert, yeah, my 6'1", we had it was kind of like short notice because it happened like a week before, and it's very hard to go out there and you can't just in a week go get the vaccine and be fully vaccinated to go do stuff like that. But I got this done, and that was all good. But I mean, I figured it's gonna happen, and that was outdoors, so it's probably gonna happen all over the place. So it's gonna be the new normal.
Bunny, how about yourself?
New normal, yes. What are my thoughts? I mean, it's like with private companies that are having vaccine mandates or get weekly COVID testing. I don't know. I'm just in the middle when it comes to forcing somebody to take a vaccine or medicine. Because it's just like how I'm feeling with, even if I don't believe in a certain thing, for me, I don't think you should mandate government on certain parts of health. The mask I'm fine. No problem with that. The vaccine mandate, meh. And again, I'm a person that say I'm vaccinated, but I don't judge you if you're not, because this is just unprecedented. Nobody was around when they had the Spanish flu over 100 years ago and how they dealt with that. So it's like you mandating it to enjoy yourself, fine. Some restaurants doing that too. It's not discriminatory, but it is. But, what can you do besides just stay in your box in your house, wear your mask, and choose not to be vaccinated?
Well, that's where I'm at too. It's kind of in between. Like, I don't think you should have to be forced to do something to go, watch a game. But I mean, if I have to go get a test, like we talked about maybe not getting, like, even going to the concert, just because it was me and two other people that are my family, so it was just up to them really. But I mean, I'm kind of in between as well. Like, I think when it all started, we all kind of knew it was going to this. So I mean, I don't have the vaccine. I don't know if I'll get it, but if I really want to go somewhere and I have to go get a test and swab my nose, then I guess I'll do that. But I mean, since this all began and I was pregnant, me and Brennan and now Mia, we've been in our house for the majority of the time. So
you brought up a good statement or comment or something. So when you were pregnant, there was no vaccine,
yeah,
and now that there are pregnant women out here, I've been reading that have COVID and have been dying. The babies have survived, but the mamas later in their pregnancy have been dying from the COVID. And it's like, well, how is that when women that were pregnant when we didn't have a vaccine weren't dying? Like, because is it Delta variant only or something else? I'm really curious about this, and maybe if
yeah.
um
Funny, like
Google.
I try to honestly keep my mouth shut about a lot of this stuff on the internet and talk about it here at home, and that's it. Like, people do what they want to do. Get the vaccine if you want to get the vaccine. Don't if you don't. I try to keep my mouth shut about a lot of things that have a lot to do with politics and now COVID. You have to add that into the list too. So I don't know, but
I'm
yeah,
not the vaccine police, so if I tell you,
yeah. Like, I mean,
I
I was
don't. I'm not
pregnant.
telling people you do it or you're not talking to me because I know people getting heated discussions. I'm like,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is not my job. That's not my place.
yeah. And that's how I am. Like, I'll bite my tongue if I don't agree with something you say, whatever. But like, I was pregnant all last year, and yeah, I'd love to go to the grocery store here and there or my appointments, but I had a mask on, So did my mask save my life? I guess I don't know. But again, I can't. I don't want to speak on it because I know a lot of people have different opinions, and I'm not trying to get in fight with people that I like. So like that's usually what it comes down to. If you have a different opinion from someone else that you like, and sometimes it breaks friendships up. I don't want to do that. So
That's crazy. Not just with that, like when it gets so heated in debate, like it can make or break friendships. I like debating, and sometimes I may not have an opinion somebody may like, but I'm not that type of person. Like, oh my gosh, she's just so. That's not. I hear your side. I tell you, if I don't have a good back and forth with you, because you may have made some valid points, even if I don't believe it, I'll let you, speak your mind though. But
yeah,
I don't think it should be friendship breaking, whether this topic or something else. Because sports. Smooth, you stand on here
sports
sometimes
good.
going back and forth. Y'all know how it is. People get real heated and emotional, but that should not break up a friendship. If you disagree with, still sitting here, keep using Reyes, even though he's been blown so many saves, but he's looked good the last couple of games. And people getting back and forth and heated and screaming. I'm like, wait a minute, you just can't have a friendly discussion.
Yeah, it's not just the COVID and politics, religion. It's sports too. It's everything, anything.
Kind of conversation. But to me, Joe, that just shows. Like, I've been saying this a long time now, ever since the pandemic started. It's really exposed the real from the fake.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, now I know who really is true to me, or whatever, and who's not. So it's just all about how that person handles adversity, and this has been a huge test of adversity. And it's all about pretty much the survival of the fittest out here. Who's going to be smart, who's not, who's going to be ignorant to the to everything. That's what this pandemic has shown us, is it's giving us the real from the fake. But I do want to change subject real quick because as y'all were talking, the Cardinals are now up 6-0 in the top of the first.
Getting their assets beat already.
Already.
And again, I stayed up last night to see that drama in the bottom of the ninth, but I'm glad I stayed for it. Hey, when we was up to nothing, I just knew. I said, you know what, our bullpen. So 2-0 is basically tied because I know how our bullpen is, and lo and behold, it was close.
Lately, our bullpen's been pretty solid. Garcia has shown his cracks here lately, but he was used 3 days in a row, and that's perfectly fine because
that was my thing. Is that he's been used 3 days in a row, so he needs at least 1 or 2 days off, then he'll be back to normal like he has been.
Yeah. And that's perfectly fine because I mean Monday night, like he was kind of shaky on Sunday against the Padres. Monday night, 1, 2, 3, got out of it real quick. And then last night he was kind of shaky again. And again, that's fine. Everyone goes through it. Rodgers with the Giants did it a couple nights ago too, and the Giants still won the game. So as long as you recover and whatnot, he probably just needs a day or two off, and I think he'll be fine.
So, question: the Dodgers had a first wild card. We had a second one. So if it plays out like this in this week, is there any way that the Dodgers will beat out San Fran and San Fran to get that first wild card spot?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the Giants are still only 1 game up.
Right.
So they're the Giants played both of them play the Padres. I think the Dodgers play the Padres 3 more times, and the Giants play the Padres 5 more times, maybe the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Maybe more. So that's good for us because they're gonna be duking it out, all year. And if they need Max Scherzer to go that last game, then we may not have to see Max Scherzer. So, I don't know. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a crazy last, 12 days of the season, that's for sure.
So that's what we need to be talking about. Why are there 12 days left? Why are we going into October and still doing regular season and not a playoff? Like, that baseball, I think, because you're competing against football now. This is only the second week of NFL going to the third. And viewership is already skyrocketing with the NFL alone. Baseball is about to, I don't know, their ratings are going to be in trouble to me for these playoffs. Because the NFL is kicking butt again, and we're already in October, and we just now getting the playoffs started. Like, they need to revamp this. To me, playoffs should be in September.
So football is gonna always reign king. It doesn't matter what sport is being played for real. When football is on, especially because it's usually 3 days out the week. Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. So it's not like it's being played every day like NBA and like Major League Baseball and hockey. So when NFL games are being played, people are going to watch because there's more betting on the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more because, like I said, it's only 1 game a week in regards to overall. It's not like the multiple teams are playing 5 games a week. So it's going to be always more attention. It's going to always run king. But let's go ahead and stay on NFL real quick. Bunny, has there been any team so far, if you've been watching, that has, and for those watching as well, has there been a team so far that's been taken off kind of early? And we know it's only 2 weeks in, but any surprise teams in regards to the win column that you've been like, okay, wait a minute, I see something brewing here?
To me, it's too early. People do this every year, and I get it. Because look how the panic button with Rodgers in Green Bay. And remember, he went through this about, 5, 6 years ago? And he told everybody to relax.
No,
he won all those playoff games in a row, and they won a Super Bowl. And everybody's in panic mode. And that's like, it's just, what? So I can't see the winners and the losers separate themselves yet. How about them Cowboys? Well, I need Annie on here because I'm talking about our Cowboys. No. When they bandwagon, they hop back off. Yeah.
In 2 weeks, she got you, Bunny.
Okay, so I will say I haven't been watching as much football because it's still baseball season. So but Brennan's been filling me in, and he has Red Zone on all day. I will say the Chiefs are kind of shaky to start the year off. I know they're 1-1, but
their defense sucks.
The Browns easily could be 2-0 right now.
Yeah, the Chiefs defense suck right now. And a big monkey was put off his back this past Sunday night when Lamar Jackson and the Ravens finally beat Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. Like I said, I think Lamar Jackson was like 0 and whatever against Mahomes, but he finally got the monkey off his back. Staying with the AFC East, I'm looking right now at the standings. The Bills and the Dolphins and the Patriots are all 1-1. Jets 0-2. The rookies had a terrible game last game. Kind of like he had that welcome to the NFL moment, pretty much. In the AFC West, though, the Raiders. I know it's only week 2, so we know it's early, but the Raiders are looking pretty good so far. They are 2-0 along with the Broncos. They are 2-0. Chiefs 1-1. Chargers 1-1. AFC North, the Steelers looking Ben Roethlisberger, he's showing his age. He's hurt again. People are saying that one of the biggest mistakes that the Steelers didn't do
was draft quarterback.
exactly.
If I was a GM, you see this all the time. Hell, I do this in other sports too. When you got an aging person, but it's a star, you like get ready for the next group.
Yep.
Let the person lead out the next generation of players. They had 2 years to get this together, honestly. Not just last year before that, they could have drafted a quarterback. If nothing else, you use it as bait to do a switch.
Yeah, so they are. So every team in the AFC North right now is 1-1. In the AFC South, the Houston Texans and the Titans are 1-1. Colts and Jaguars 0-2. But what's crazy about the Texans, we all know about the Deshaun Watson situation. Tyrod Taylor got hurt last game, and I think right now the Texans he's not put on no probation or anything from the NFL, but to protect their image, they're not going to activate Deshaun Watson no matter what until things get pretty much under control with what's going on outside the NFL. So they'll be starting a rookie tomorrow night against the Jaguars. So let's see how interesting that game will be. In the NFC, the Washington football team. You know, I wanted the Redskins so bad, but the Washington football team, they are 1-1 along with the Eagles and Cowboys. In the NFC West, I'm sorry, Giants 0-2. NFC West, the 49ers and the Rams and the Cardinals are 2-0. Now last year, Kyler Murray had a great start to the season. Mm-hmm. He was on fire and like, here we go. But then they kind of, faded a little bit. Do you see this year being the season in which the Cardinals can make some noise deep into the season? Bunny?
Kyler Murray? After your first year, you get adjusted to the league, right? You get adjusted to the speed of the game, how they're going to pass rush and all that. But the opponents get adjusted to you too. So this will definitely separate Kyler Murray if he's going to be sustainable and be good in the NFL, or this is not going to be his time to shine. Like, he may have to wait another season. I don't know. But the Arizona Cardinals, the defense is pretty decent, if I'm not mistaken. So that may help cover a little bit of Kyler Murray's flaws and why he's still developing his game. So the verdict's still out, to answer your question.
And the
Seahawks. I think I put them in my Super Bowl, by the way.
For the Cardinals?
Yeah, the Cardinals and the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
Now, honestly, I'd pick Lamar Jackson second year in NFL going to the Super Bowl over Kyler Murray, how he is with the Cardinals. That's me.
Got you. And then Seahawks are 1-1. NFC North, the Packers, they are the whole relax. It's okay. We got this, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. They are now 1-1. The Bears 1-1. They just announced today that Justin Fields will be starting. Now, of course, this is because Andy Dalton is hurt. And our boy Stan, who will not be on the show tonight, he'll be back in October. He was like, man, it's Fields time. Here we go. But I'm like, it's all because of Andy Dalton got hurt. So, but I do feel that if Justin Fields shows out and wows, the organization and the team, that they may have a situation where they're like, you know what, Dalton? Hey, the best ability is what?
Showing up. What?
Availability. There we go.
Oh, showing up. Same thing. Okay.
Yep. So we shall see. Now I'm surprised that the Vikings are 0-2. I thought they may came out better, but they didn't. And then the Lions are 0-2 as well. Jared Goff showed why he is not that guy if you watch this past Monday Night Football. But speaking of Monday Night Football, well, actually, before I do that, NFC South, Buccaneers, no surprise, 2-0. Panthers, 2-0. Sam Darnold, he's the quarterback. He used to be with the Jets. Now he's with the Panthers, and he's looking good so far. The Saints 1-1, and the Falcons 0-2. But going back to Monday Night Football, I hope that this is a trend. Joe, I'm not sure if you saw it at all, or Brendan, Bunny, I'm not sure if you saw it, but I love how Monday Night Football has two different telecasts. You have your main telecast with Brian Greasy and golly, I forgot his name right now. Brian Levy, Brian Greasy, and the brother, I forgot his name right now. Sorry. But ESPN2, you have the Manning brothers. And I just love their broadcast because it shows a different perspective. And I feel like other networks may take that into consideration for future games. Is getting people who may not be your normal play-by-play guys, but just want to talk about the game.
Yeah.
That may be different. I can see that happening. Can you imagine, Joe, if we watching ESPN and it's the Cardinals with the Cubs, and you see maybe Ozzie Smith and Ryan Sandberg, or you know what I'm saying? You got professionals, or Barry Bonds and whoever else, and you watch them watch the game and analyze the game and talk about different stories and bring in other guests. That's going to captivate more people to watch the sport.
Yeah, and I think the whole YouTube thing that they've been trying out the last couple of years definitely leaning towards that. Like, I don't know who's going to be on for the Cardinals and the Brewers tomorrow. Might be Dan Plesac because he usually is it. But like we've heard Matt Halliday on there before too, So they usually take a past player from each team for the YouTube and put it with the MLB guy. But I mean, I liked it, and I did see a tweet. I didn't watch Monday Night Football, but I saw a tweet about what Peyton Manning said about the Patriots, which was pretty funny.
Right. But just have the guys just be themselves and just talk. Like I love how Gronk was like, yeah, I don't look at plays. I just run over people or run past people. That's just entertaining. People love to see the realness from players, and I think that was what that the XFL did perfectly was when they interview guys like doing the game, interview coaches.
Yeah.
Getting that rawness of how do you feel about this play? Your quarterback threw an interception. How do you feel about that? Or if you were the quarterback that threw the interception, how did you feel? People love to see that reality. You know what I'm saying? That's why reality TV is so big right now, because people are seeing the realness from people that they always follow. Bunny, you have any further thoughts on that?
I accidentally came across the Manning Brothers telecast because I was watching ESPN Monday Night Football, and then I flipped the remote. I accidentally ended up on ESPN2, and when I was listening to them, I'm like, wait a minute, they weren't on here earlier, and that's when it dawned on me that they was on ESPN2 doing their thing. I mean, it was cool. I eventually flipped back to the regular announcers, but that's probably because of the mood I was in. Like, I don't mind hearing the NBA too, but I also like to hear certain ways of how the play-by-play goes. But it's good to have options, and like you said, maybe a trend that catches on for the sports to do it too. Definitely, who needs it? Baseball. You already know, Joe. The ways of the past. That's why they talk about viewership and attendance is still sucking because they're still stuck in the past. You got to be progressive instead of waiting.
Well, I think what I was gonna say is if they eventually that people have been fighting for a couple of years now is if MLB didn't make a blackout restriction on the at-bat app, I think that would help because I don't know, Fred, if you follow the page VHS, it's a Cardinals page. He always posts the other broadcast call of like the big famous one is whenever Molina and DeYoung went back to back in 2019. And you have Len Casper's. I think if you go to their page, it's their pinned tweet still. It has that, but it has their back-to-back homer, and it's Len Casper calling it. I wish you could go and because without this guy, you would never hear these calls. But it's nice hearing like when Fernando Tatis made an error and this and that, like against the Cardinals. It was nice hearing different broadcasters' views, and I think that alone with MLB canceling out the blackout restrictions, that would definitely help.
All right, let me tell you how baseball is going to be, not to do with the broadcast, but when I say they're always behind the leg. So y'all see how the NBA has the advertising on their jerseys. NFL is number one sports generator in our country, but I see them doing that too within the next year or two. Watch baseball on this trend 5 years after the NFL does it. Like, that's when I say they're always behind on the trendy things. Like, in-game interviews. Again, you don't see that often in baseball. You'll catch it during the playoffs, regular season, you really see it. Well, why not? Y'all trying to engage fans? That's one way to do it. But why not? Well, you know it could be done. So what's the hold?
You know why? Because Liam Hendricks was mic'd up during the All-Star game. He dropped a couple F-bombs on accident because he's
that won't be the first and it won't be the last time anybody's in-game interviews. But if you give me
I'm saying like they want to do it, but then something like that happens and they're like, oh crap, we shouldn't do that. But that's on them because they didn't pick the right person. Everyone knows Liam Hendricks. He's an Aussie that drops F-bombs constantly. That's just who he is, especially whenever he's in the heat of the moment. So I mean, they have to pick and choose. Again, you see it during the home run derby and the All-Star game, and sometimes in the playoffs. But yeah, I mean that's on Manfraud though. That's on Manfraud, not those other people. That's on Manfraud.
We see it, you know, before. So it's like, what? Even if you do a delay going forward, you see how people do this. It's nothing new. There's stuff to work around. But I don't want y'all to keep meaning MLB, complaining. And you're not doing action. Yeah, you did a couple of rule changes for the minor leagues, major league where all the money is. What are you doing? Quit complaining.
Okay,
put us on the board. We'll help y'all. Shoot.
Hey, the CBA is happening in about a month and a half, or 2 months. So I guess we'll see if anything changes with baseball. Me, I have a blast watching, regardless. But if you wanted to get new fans, maybe the CBA will help that. Getting the DH to come over, maybe that'll help it. So
another archaic thing with this 2 leagues, one big split about DH and no DH. What other sport, what other place less that happened? I just don't get it at this point in life.
We're gonna get it next year. It's okay. Calm down.
And then they're gonna do like how they did with that stupid check the thing on the glove. They gonna change in the middle of the season, like they do stuff on the fly now. So I don't trust it.
I think 100% the DH is gonna be here next year, so that'll be fun.
They honestly need it. They're talking about you want to keep people engaged and stuff. A pitcher is in the batter's box for all of 30 seconds, if that much. Most of the time they fly out or just strike out, whatever. If you get another batter in there, it definitely gives you more offense. Because that's what they want, more offense. Or somebody that's a power hitter uses in the DH spot. It gets you what you're trying to seek, which is more offense without raising the mound or whatever they're trying to do and stuff like that.
I will say the last night's game 1-0 until the 8th inning. You gotta have that sometimes. It's fun. There were so many strikeouts in the game. It was nerve-wracking. I was on the verge of pooping my pants. I was so nervous. It was tough. It was tough. I'm just saying. Sometimes you need that in your life.
I don't mind pitchers duel. They're cool. I just don't need it enough. Or like I said, with this old unwritten rules crap. We need the excitement. We need the bat flips. We need the stare down. We need the taunting while you're running the bases. Come on with it. Because that means the pitcher go back and get your stuff together and strike the person out. Like, don't get in your feelings, get back. Like you said, in other sports, people get beat on defense all the time. What you got to do if you don't want to keep getting beat, you shut that person down on defense. Or you push them up on the line where they can't get past you. Or you keep blocking them from receiving the ball. I mean, come on. It's so 1919 with this, and this is 2021. Y'all tripping. Really.
The next generation is I think this year, out of all years, like last year was the beginning of it. I think it's because everyone was just kind of it's a weird year, 60 games, just trying to make it fun. And this year, I think you're seeing it a lot more. You're even seeing pitchers doing stuff. I mean, like, Gradwell last year threw his glove after Bellinger robbed a homer. This year, just saw Jazz Chisholm do his little move after he hit a homer, and then the pitcher for the Nats did the same move after he struck him out the next day. Like, you're seeing more of it, and the younger the game gets, which it's been getting younger, obviously, your top guys are Acuna, Tatis, Soto. You're going to keep seeing it more and more, so. Your dream's coming true, Bunny.
Slowly, but sure. Keep it coming.
Hey, Bunny, what are your thoughts on the this NFL taunting rule that the league mandated this offseason? And it's pretty much,
stupid.
Yeah. I mean,
you got too much time in your hands in the rule book to put that in there. Too much time. Way too much.
It just shows you that it must have been done by guys who like 60 years and older. You know what I'm saying? Because the game of football, and I said this before, but you work so hard to get to a point where you made it. So football of all sports should allow you the opportunity to express any kind of emotion that you have, whether you taunt somebody now, unless you kick somebody in the nuts, that's something different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But hey, I got it. Yeah. I shouldn't be getting a penalty because I'm expressing myself because I did something. That's part of the game. Get all this little old stuff. It was like when the Rams were the greatest show on turf.
That's when they brought that rule out after that. They sure did.
And they had to
I liked watching the was it Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, like hammering the football into the ground and taking a cell phone out of the freaking
goalpost.
Goalpost. One thing that annoys me, but I don't think you should get a penalty for it. I think it's funny is whenever a team's getting their asses kicked and then they sack someone and they're all like going over the quarterback, like flexing on him. I'm just like, you look stupid at this point because you guys are losing. But I mean, you do you. It's whatever. But yeah, I think it's one of the dumbest rules in sports, not just in football, but in sports.
Because like one thing I don't like in NBA, and LeBron, was famous for doing this. Soon as the whistle is blown, and he doesn't think it should be against him, it's against him, he start crying to the ref. Or if he didn't get the foul call, he start crying to the ref. Other stars do it and regular players do it too. That annoys the hell out of me. Like, quit crying. You cannot cry every time the whistle's blown. Y'all know that's part of the game. But should you get a tech or flagrant foul because you crying to the ref about not getting a call? No. So NFL, like you said, old man made this rule again. And it's like the whole purpose of this, besides people making money off of this, is entertainment. Entertain me by doing your antics in the end zone, by taunting and talking trash at the line. This is nothing new. These are grown men. Quit trying to baby or calm it down for people in the stands. Hey, it is what it is. You got kicked and got sacked, or you sit there and beat the man and got to the end zone. Have at it, bro. Have at it. Celebrate, do a cartwheel. It's part of the game's entertainment. They getting so stupid with this penalties on taunting and all that. It's like y'all must not have been competitive whoever's making the rules. But if there's somebody old and somebody got time in their hands.
Yep. Totally agree, man. Like I said before, let these guys go ahead and play, have a good time, enjoy the game. Don't make it too much because you and your feelings, because emotions are being shown. You know what I'm saying? It bring ratings, it's gonna bring excitement, it's gonna make the other team be like, oh, okay, this man trying to show us up. I got something for you next time. That's what we want to see because that's the competitive nature of sports.
Okay, so I got a question, Fred. Sorry for cutting you off. Did you just maybe think of it? So on the Chris Rose and Trevor Plouffe, they do the baseball today every day on Instagram Live. They were talking about how the Padres used to do the swag chain. They pulled it out last night for the first time in a long time. And I feel like it was kind of silly for them to pull it out last night just because they've been slumping really bad, this and that. So I think that stuff's okay, but like Trevor Plouffe said, it's 162 games. They kind of look silly pulling it out now whenever they got 2 wins in their last 12 games. Like, do you think it's okay to be doing that when you're losing constantly?
Yeah. So that's like if let's say the Rams doing the greatest show of turf years. Let's say if the Rams just had a very bad day and they were down by 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, I don't want to see the bob and weave. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're down by 1 touchdown, okay, let's go. But if you're down by 4 touchdowns with 4 minutes left to go in the game in the fourth quarter, why are you doing the bob and weave? You ain't serving no purpose. You ain't coming back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my logic, is make it make sense. It's like when I can't recall who it was a while back, but a football player maybe got like a touchdown or interception, something like that, and he just going around, yeah, I did that. But y'all team losing by 3-4 touchdowns. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, make it make sense. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. So that's what the Trevor Plouffe was kind of getting at. It's the fact that, like, the the Reds too. Amir Garrett earlier this year saying, like, we're the team with the most swag in the league. We're the baddest dudes out here. Blah blah. But they've lost 6 straight series. They
Where y'all at now?
They shouldn't be doing all this cockiness stuff. And same thing with the Padres. Last night was the first time we actually seen them pull out the swag chain, and they still lost.
Right.
I get trying to loosen up the bullpen and have fun. Like the Phillies, for example, they have the home run cap, like the home run straw hat. That's fine, but I don't know. Like they could technically still come back and go into the playoffs, and I get nervous for that. But they have to go on a very, very insane run for that to happen. I just feel like, why you just kind of look like a clown right now. doing
some people like to still, they know why they out there, but if they get their assets kicked, they still want to feel like, hey, I did accomplish something. Whether I got a sack, and we're down by 4 touchdowns, 2 minutes left, I got an end zone, and we still gonna lose. Some people still just get celebrate because the cliche, you gotta get the small wins. So we're not getting a W in the column, but hey, I finally got that sack, and I ain't got one all season. I finally got to the end zone, and that probably put me up one more on the depth chart, maybe. Like that player could be thinking that way, maybe not the coaches, but sometimes people want the small wins. They may not be out there again, you get that butt kick, you got the second and third string out there by then.
Yeah, and I just I don't know how all that stuff works in football, basketball, and even hockey with contract stuff, but like baseball, every at bat, it could mean something for your money. But I mean, the Padres are all pretty much locked up for the long haul, and I just think it's kind of funny that everyone thought they were like gonna win the World Series, and now they're tanking. I just love it, and I just think it's silly that they're still bringing out the swag chain. But
as a team, maybe that's a motivation to where now, y'all, we brought this back. We had a chance to be in the second spot for real, and we lost it to the Cardinals. But another game, another team. Let's get this to be our mojo, get it back going again.
Yeah.
And that was gonna be my next response is maybe that's just their way of internally just trying to find a way to get themselves back into the swing of things by the change. So that's gonna be my other,
I think there's a lot more other stuff going on in the Padres dugout right now than there.
Yeah.
But Machado and Tatis get into it. Is that a big thing or not? Because people get into it all the time. The cameras aren't always on it.
So I don't think it was a big thing between those two because they're really good buddies. Tatis was just on a podcast a month ago talking about how much he respects Manny Machado. Manny Machado's he's a veteran now, like he did what Tatis did when he was with the Orioles when he was a kid. But now he's that veteran leadership. Yachty and Ponce just got into it last week, but we were winning ball games.
And where's Ponce now?
Well, he's back in Memphis because no one wanted him.
No, he ain't.
Yeah, no,
he got DFA. He cleared. Okay.
Waivers, yeah, so he's back in Memphis. But I'm just saying, like, that stuff's going to happen.
Right.
It happens for
all the time. Right.
But I mean, it just looks weird because it was 2 players team. Tatis was because he got run.
Yeah, I mean it's really just the media doing their job.
They gotta find a storyline to run with. That's all, because we know it can
go. Yeah, I mean the fan that videotaped it, he's not in the wrong. He's not a bad guy for doing that. Like that stuff happens. The camera was gonna catch it, or the fan was gonna do it. I don't think that's the biggest problem with the Padres right now. I don't think Jace Tingler's going to be their manager next year. I don't think they want to play for this guy. He's not doing anything. They fired their pitching coach thinking that was going to fix all their problems.
Sometimes it's a scapegoat, though. That's a scapegoat. They start one way to see that can help the other people on the team. Be like, all right, we fired one coach. Hopefully it's what y'all want to get going again, or it's showing that we're trying to make a change. It ain't always that person's problem.
Big red light, whatever you want to call it, is I saw or read something today that they wanted to trade for Nelson Cruz just for his leadership voice in the dugout. That means something. That team, someone's going to get traded this offseason in that team. You don't get Blake Snell and Yu Darvish, lock up Tatis for the rest of his life, trade for Adam Frazier, the whole 9. You don't do that. Everyone's putting them in the World Series already. And then you're going to be like, I want Nelson Cruz to play first base, a position he's never played in his life, who can barely catch a ball in the outfield, just so he can be a voice for us. Like that means something's not going on right there.
Yep. Okay. So in the NBA, let's talk about this real quick, Bunny. Ben Simmons announced the other day that he would not attend 76ers camp. He would not pretty much just play basketball until he is traded. Is he way over his head for the way that he's handling this situation right now?
I'm on both sides, but it's similar to the situation that we have here in St. Louis with the Blues. What's his name?
Tarasenko.
Tarasenko demanded a trade. I guess they still ain't found no suitors. Hey, camp is here, and he got to report back. Now, if he chose not to come back, he didn't get the trade yet, you have your prerogative. Now, does that help you on the market? Because some organizations like, I don't want to fool with that person because he ain't showing up.
They don't trust his health record, and they don't feel like right now he's the same Tarasenko that was on video game covers, 6-7 years ago.
And so with Simmons, the same thing. Well, not health. Simmons is more skilled.
Right.
Again.
And mental.
That I said this some months ago, though. This stuff is some of this is self-inflicted. It's not easy getting to the NBA. Everybody that plays basketball should generally know that. Because the best players are sometimes still in the G League or some are playing overseas. So if they're not in the NBA, and that tells you it is hard. It's only so many spots. But the point is, if you choosing to not be better in the offseason and work out with the right people, and you said some of this mental, that part's not self-inflicted, but your talent working on your skills. And that's why I'm bringing back Tarasenko again. Jobo, he's still on the roster. He still ain't got the trade. Ben Simmons, NBA player, again, demanding a trade. But he's not going to show up. Tarasenko, has he showed up to camp, y'all?
Apparently he's been practicing and looking good. So.
Okay. And that's going to help his stock to eventually find somebody. I still don't understand what's taking so long. So other organizations are scared. I know you said health reasons, Fred, but there have been other players that have had health. They shake on their health and teams to still pick them up in the trade. I don't know what's up with Tarasenko, but Ben Simmons, he's doing the opposite. He wanted to demand a trade. He ain't going to show up to camp. I think you should still show up to camp. You get work on your skills and work on whatever you need to do. You're not going to put your all in. I get it. But, this was almost no surprise, though, honestly, y'all. We should have said last year at the playoffs, he should have been gone. I said that at least. And here you are, finished another NBA season playoffs. He didn't show up like he should have. Same stake. It was a deja vu. So I don't know why anybody's shocked. Now, him ask for a trade, that's like, wow, you doing it now? You should have done that a couple years ago when you still had some more value to you. People have seen your faults. You've been exploited so much in playoffs. It's like somebody's going to take you. That it's a gamble, but it's like, what are you going to offer? Like I read, I think it was it said he wanted to Warriors or somebody else to pick up. Like if he gets picked up, he's going to start. I don't know what he provides. That he can lead a team. He doesn't have veteranship. He doesn't have leadership to me, and definitely his skills could be better. Otherwise, you should be coming off the bench.
So, from what I'm understanding, one of the biggest issues is that if Philadelphia are trying to trade him, they want a haul for him, and these teams aren't willing to give them the whole world to acquire Ben Simmons.
I would put that for John Wall because John Wall's still going to get traded for the Rockets again. I would put a whole haul of people for John Wall way over Ben Simmons. Philly is tripping. I don't know who the GM is. I think he's a good guy, but he's tripping. I mean, all you can do is ask, and all people going to do is do what they're doing to Tarasenko and say no. We don't want to take that risk. So, I mean, eventually, it's maybe when the season gets going and somebody gets injured, or somebody's having contract issues with an agent and not seeing, they may pick up Simmons just like Tarasenko. They may do that once the season starts and something's exploited, like, oh yeah, we got a hole here, this person injured. But other than that, they can try. The GM can try for the 76ers, but he's getting his feelings hurt. If you think he's gonna get the whole world, hell no, and I wouldn't either. And I don't have experience in it. I just got some common sense, and it ain't looking like that's the person that should be starting on a team that's definitely competitive to go to the playoffs, or even a team if it's led by a lot of rookies. Like let's just say the T Wolves. I would put Simmons with that group. Like Simmons had a chance. He's been with some young players, and Embiid, and he even had what's the old boy name? 76ers. He's had the people around him just as young as he is, and he still hasn't thrived. He needs to be around some veterans. Like let's just say, I'm cracking jokes on the Lakers. They're the AARP team. If he puts Simmons with the AARP team,
it'll be good.
Get better.
Right.
He would start, and he wouldn't earn the right to start, but he would get better, and he could eventually take that and move it to another team. Because look how Julius Randle was with the Lakers when they shipped him, Ingram, and Ball to the Pelicans. And look how Randall's done better now. Like sometimes you could take a group of people, move to another team, and put them around certain people, and they're gonna thrive. Others they gonna still be the same. So Simmons leaving the team will help him, but he needs to be around veterans that are good. And he still will not start though.
And in regards to the Tarasenko situation, you was asking why hasn't any team picked him up, etc. The same way that we're seeing things in the media and on the news, whatever, other teams are seeing the same thing. They're seeing how he's handling the situation. So it's like, well, do we want that in our locker room? Is he worth it?
It makes sense. His shoulder could be healthy, but I mean, if he's going to be something, just some negative force in, the locker room or on the ice, then
is he considered a cancer in the locker room?
I don't know. Like I saw a tweet today or yesterday about how him and some guys have been skating together over the last week or so. Seems like it's been fine. I guess we won't know until the season actually starts and see how the guys are acting on the ice and whatnot and how he's playing. But I'm still kind of nervous for it, regardless of what we're seeing. Sometimes you see stuff on Twitter, it looks all hunky-dory. And again, I'm just going to bring back the Padres, for example. Like everything looks good until you see something and then the glass breaks and, all these secrets come out. So we'll see. I'm trying to just hold my breath, hope that we get Senko, score 20 goals, and he helps out. And that's that.
And word is that he's in the best shape of his life. He lost a lot of weight. He's looking,
the quote you hear every spring training.
Exactly. So, we shall see. But keeping with the Blues, and for those watching the show, thank you very much. If you have a team in the NHL or NBA or Major League Baseball, NFL, whatever,
even soccer,
it doesn't matter. Let us know. Leave comments, and your comment will be shown on the screen. You will be famous messing with the platform Sports Talk Show. So sticking with the Blues, Joe, a name that has been buzzing around camp has been Scott Perunovich. Looks like this young man may have a bright future in store. Have you heard a whole lot about him? If you have, what's your thoughts? Because it sounds like this young man could be possibly a huge factor in regards to the upcoming season.
So I heard Brendan mention him a lot every time I ask about defense because I get worried about defense, especially after last year. So Brendan's mentioned his name quite a bit, and then I heard Randy and Smallman talk about him today. So it sounds like if he looks good during training camp, could be the real deal. So hopefully because defense still kind of scares me. So hopefully he is the real deal and he helps us out a little bit. And I'm excited for what's his name, Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, Joshua.
Dakota Johnson's a celebrity. Anyways, he looked good last year, and hopefully, he could be someone that can help us out too to be on that fourth line.
Yeah, and I believe training camp starts tomorrow? Is that correct?
Tomorrow. It's so exciting. It's such a good time of the year. It felt amazing outside today. Baseball playoffs were in 2 weeks. You got hockey starting.
But that's my problem right there. Like y'all making me pick and choose overlapping. We should be doing baseball playoffs in September. We should start it right after Labor Day. Get this going. By the time September 30th comes, or right after my birthday, we should be knowing who the World Series champs are or who's going to be in the World Series.
I would absolutely.
I don't have to
hate
pick
that
up with a
because
football and
October,
hockey,
October baseball, it's cold outside.
And that's
it's
what I
just,
don't want. Baseball is not synonymous with cold. Baseball's synonymous with the boys of summer.
hey, April's
Warm.
freezing all around the country. Okay, a lot of cold games going on in April.
Right. And I could take that for that month, but not for when it counts, which is what you're trying to win the World Series. That's when it really counts, not just April.
I don't
Start
think
this stuff in April. Either, like I said, I've read this for other people, broadcasters too. You can cut it down some. You can do the timer on the game if you don't want to drag it on. Double headers a little more often and do 7 innings like they're doing now. Something. But the boys of summer should be wrapping it up when fall starts, which is this time of year. Not, oh, let's get players started and I'm competing with football. I know how you said, Fred, they're going to be who they are in the fields that's dominant. I get it. But like I said, we got hockey too. I should not be having my arms and my eyes spread everywhere trying to put on the games.
Hey, it's
well,
funny
that's my
you said
thing though. Early NFL, early NHL. Who cares? Baseball playoffs are on. Let's go.
But NFL has less games, so every game literally counts more than baseball. Baseball, we got literally 3 seasons.
Tom Brady can start off the year 0-5 and still make it in the playoffs and probably win. So I mean,
but he's the only person we watching. They're the only team. And we, like Fred said, we got 3 days out the week to watch them. But technically, if you do the multiple games, it's usually on Sundays. Okay, so you're like, well, the rest of the week can watch your baseball playoffs. Playoffs is all the time, though. But we also, like I said, hockey. Look, it's only so much time. Plus, we still got to live our lives. So we got to go to a local softball game or a local soccer game here, too. It's like only so much time in a day in the week.
Hey, speaking of which,
hey, you're gonna be a mom again, like very soon. You don't gotta worry about all these different games. You'll be busy.
No, knowing Bunny, she's gonna be right there having a baby, watching the Cardinals or whatever or basketball at the same damn time. And I was talking to say earlier, Bunny, even you, Joe, y'all should see how I got my setup when I like this past Monday. I was watching football on one screen. I was watching wrestling on another screen. I watch it called the baseball on a whole other screen. Y'all be bugging up if you see how I be trying to work things together.
Yeah, we got the ESPN Broadcast Center.
We got the TV going, the tablet, the laptop, our phone. It's
anything that works, I'm using.
I love it though. That's what I love. I love this time of year. Like you got college football on, even. Like all this stuff going on. It's so freaking fun. And then again, like when the weather changes, that's just when baseball.
But we got to add MLS soccer to this, though, Jobo. 2 years we got to do MLS soccer, St. Louis SC Club. Come on now. It's only so much we can do in a day.
Funny. There's so much change in baseball right now. Let this one thing be because everyone freaking loves it. Get over it.
No, they don't.
All right, y'all.
That's your setup.
I'm gonna give y'all an exclusive right now of how my setup looks right now. So y'all can see how things go behind production. Now that I moved to our home, shout out to my wife, Jamie. But here we go. Let me
still get used to saying that, ain't you? My wife.
Hey, I love it though. Here we go. So this is how I had it this past Monday night. Okay, so we got the tablet over here. Hey Joe, hey Bunny, I see y'all. Then we got the monitor right here.
Okay.
Then we got the laptop right here, and then if need be, got the phone. So I have 4 different ways of watching sports right now. So this is my life. A lot of times I want to watch a lot of different things at the same time. I got it everywhere, so I can't miss nothing right now, y'all.
Yeah, that's what I love about this time of year. It's so exciting. Like Sundays, Berta has Red Zone on. I have the laptop with all the teams that are right there, close in the race. Got all of it going on. Got my phone going. Right now, got the TV back there. There's my Jonas Brothers poster. But yeah, look at that.
Okay.
Good to go. It's an exciting time of year, Bunny. Just be
happy. Okay, but listen, I'm gonna hold you to this about. Let me see. Softball is played in women. Is that more fall or the spring? I forget. Is softball fall? Like in high school? Is that fall or spring?
In high school, it's spring.
Okay, so when you're younger,
I would do that and then fall ball. So
okay, so when you're younger with baby Joe, she's gonna be going to little camps, and eventually she's gonna start doing her little softball thing. And then you're gonna have your phone up and be like, "Oh crap, let me see what the score." Then you be like, "Oh crap, she got practice," and then I'm gonna watch this. Watch out, because just to let you know, all this time you have now was not going to be here when Baby Joe was starting her sports thing. Just remember this. You gonna understand what I'm talking about? There's only so much time in the day.
Okay, I got Katie Woo pop-ups on my phone to tell me what's going on. Shout out Katie Woo. That'd be someone cool to have on. But Katie Woo, I got her pop-up.
Hey, Joe, I'm trying. Okay, I'm trying.
She's so freaking funny, man. Oh my gosh. Okay, anyways, all you have to do is have the person of the athletic beat alert them to update you on your phone, which I got. And then I could take pictures of me while I'm doing it. It just pops up on my phone. Doesn't interrupt anything. I got it.
I will say between that, between Twitter and for those that don't have it, download like Bleacher Report, and then you can you can have it set up where you can follow your favorite team, your favorite player, your favorite sport, no matter what it is. You get updates all the time, so you'll be in the know in regards to what's happening. And of course, follow the platform Sports Talk Show. I can't talk about everybody else and I talk about us. So you know what I'm saying? Follow us as well. Got to put the plug in. This is what I do, on your Wednesday night sports delight. I am your boy Smoooth, along with
Bunny
and Jobo.
And with that being said, it is about that time. So for those watching for the first time, this show has been going on strong for 4 years, y'all. Every Wednesday consistently. And tonight, this man returns. We had a great conversation with him. It was well over 3 hours long. Even when we ended the show, he was like, man, I had so much fun. I didn't want to leave. I want to keep on talking about more stuff. So we had to get him back on. This man here, you think about KMOX Sports, you think about this guy. I heard him when I was younger, during my young smooth years, what I'm saying? Heard him on the dials, and this man, he MCs big time events, pretty much any St. Louis celebrity, athlete, whatever. He's known, he's interviewed, he's MC'd for, whatever. He has an awesome show, The Garage Hour. He's going to have Tori Holt on tomorrow on the KMOX feed on Facebook. I'm trying to book Tori Holt as well, so stay tuned. Platform Sports Talk Show people. And he also has an awesome, usually every Mondays with Kevin Wheeler, Cars Talk as well. We had once again a great conversation with him last time, and he's back for some more. Without any further ado, the legend. I'm calling him the legend. He may say, no, it's too much, but no, I'm saying it. Himself, KMOX Sports Director, Tom Ackerman. Tom.
Oh, man. Wow. What an intro. Man, it has been way too long. How are you guys doing?
I was pregnant last time we had Tom on.
Yeah,
now Buddy's pregnant.
You were.
Every time Tom comes,
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah. So, I mean, over 9 months ago. So that's crazy.
Gosh.
But yeah,
dang, Tom. You make people pregnant, huh? You got that point on us, huh?
How are we doing? How about the Cardinals up by a touchdown right now?
It's awesome.
Amazing. I mean, like I want to say before the Brewers even got in at bat, it was already 6-0. I'm like, okay, shut them up. Let's go.
I still gotta hold my breath because of the bullpen. Still, I still don't have that much faith in them yet.
No, I understand. The bullpen gave us a little scare last night, but they got the job done. It was some day yesterday. To get to 10 in a row, this team is pretty special. It really is, and it took a while, I know, to get there for all the pieces to come together. But you can see it right now. I mean, you can see this team has that look in it. That they can't be defeated. So, now they got to finish the job. There's a lot of work to do. You got to get to the finish line. We don't want to celebrate on the 5-yard line, but, the team is getting there. And once they get there, can they get through that wild card game? And, I know they're going to put everything on the line in that game. I mean, that is a all hands on deck type of game and put all the pressure on the Dodgers or the Giants, whoever ends up being that team, and then let's go. But if they get through that game, it's going to remind you of 06, of 11, and, anything goes.
Well, let me ask you this real quickly, Tom. So when they have late games, like last night, it wasn't as late as some other ones recently, but with the people who are still working at KMOX, are they like happy but tired at the same time, or they don't mind? I'm just curious.
Well, I thought you were going to ask about my sleep schedule, because that does become a factor. I stayed up and watched that game, and then I couldn't go to bed. I was sitting there watching the game and stayed up pretty late, kind of reading stuff and getting ready to figure out what I was going to say, and the adrenaline that was pumping through after seeing Gio go through that in the ninth. So, I don't get a lot of sleep these days, but heck, whatever. I've been doing this long enough. I remember being in Boston covering the World Series at Fenway Park, getting back to my hotel at 2 a.m., sleeping for 2 hours, getting in a cab, driving out to wherever, CBS Radio in Boston, and doing a morning show. This is what you do this time of year. So, yeah, at KMOX, I think right now everybody is pumped right now. Everybody at KMOX is fired up. This is our team, our partner. And now I gave a little speech after the game on Sunday on the post-game show. And on our network show, I said, it just came to me right before I went on the air. I just said, look, if you criticize this team, I tweeted something later similar to this. I said, if you criticize this team, if for some reason you didn't see any problem with this team, or if you were somewhere in the middle, like most of us, where you saw a lot of this team and you knew what was wrong and knew what could be fixed and knew what you liked and didn't like, or if you're just jumping on board today, welcome. Everybody is on board. We need you right now, and it's time for everybody to focus. Somewhere along the line, you like the Cardinals, whether your grandparents introduced you to them or you moved here because of business or somebody and you went to Busch Stadium and you liked it, or, maybe you just became a fan last week, but somewhere along the line, you like the team. So we need everybody on board. And that's the beauty of the Cardinals in the city of St. Louis, is that it is the one thing that's unified us through the years. It is. That and good food. But that's it. The Cardinals have done that for us. That's what we grew up on. So it's okay to have that feeling again, and it's nice to have.
You saying that about it kind of unifying just the city, it makes me think of the 2019 Blues playoff push. Like, you go to the store and someone's wearing a Blues gear, be like, oh my gosh, how you doing? Did you see that game last night? So I feel like it's kind of been like that. I know gas stations out where I live, they got the Cardinal flags and stuff going. So it's been fun. And one thing I was thinking as you were talking is it's crazy that it's not just blowout games like it was at the beginning of the year, where it was either, feast or famine. We're winning games like last night. Or on Saturday, for example, when we were losing, you didn't think that, like, earlier in the year, you would have been like, we're done, we're not coming back. But you kind of had that feeling in your stomach that we were going to come back and win that game somehow, some way, and then Tyler O'Neill happened.
That's right. The Saturday night game had to have just killed the Padres. That's a game they should have won. That's the game that they were hoping for. They've had so many problems with their rotation, kind of like the Cardinals did back in June when the Cardinals had two starters on the roster in KK and Waino. The Padres are just anybody pitch. Can anyone pitch? Here's the contract. And then they get Yu Darvish going deep into the game, and the Cardinals still beat them with that home run from Tyler. Had to have been crushing to them. And then Sunday, they were able to get that one done. I'll tell you, though, last night, these are very close games. And last night, I had a friend text me white knuckle time when Luis Garcia was up there in the 8th pitching, and then in the 9th, Gio. And I said, I hate it. I said, I love it also. But I could go for – Can I get one blowout so I can just go crack open a beer and not worry about it? But
kind of like Danny Mac said just someone on Twitter, how he's something about the nerves. You're gonna deal with the nerves, it's gonna be like nerve wracking at times, but you love it, and that's how it is. I was telling Fred and Bonnie before we get on, like last night, I was saying I was like, felt like I had to poop my pants or something. It was so nerve-wracking, but it was awesome at the same time, you know? Like, once we actually, like, struck out Pablo Reyes, me and my husband fist pumped, you know? Boom, and then we were good to go. And then you're adrenaline and you can't fall asleep for a little bit.
Yeah, gutsy move by Schultz yesterday, actually, you know, walking Yelich and putting the winning run at second base. That's a big no-no in baseball, but you know, he knew that Reyes was the last position player, so he's going to take his chances with Reyes, and it came true. I know this, that, you know, you look at this team, those players, so we're talking about white knuckle time and having to deal with all this. It's actually good for the players to go through pressure baseball. That is how 06 won. Definitely how 11 won, more so than 06, actually, is that they were used to the pressure situations. So maybe that helps them. Again, this is going to take one game to get through. And then once they get through the Dodgers or whoever it is, Dodgers or Giants, in that wild card game, anything could happen. But I think it is good that the Cardinals are in this mode right now. The Brewers aren't. I mean, you can just tell they're not in this desperation mode that the Cardinals are in. The Cardinals got to, if they go up even more tonight or tomorrow, they got to stay with it until they finish the job, so they stay in that mindset. That's a really good thing. And you just said that's what the Blues were in. I mean, the Blues were underdogs in every series.
Yeah.
I mean, a first-round series, everybody's like, Winnipeg will take care of them. I don't think so. And then Dallas will take care of them, and then they got it. San Jose for sure. I mean, San Jose is a better team, and they took care of San Jose even after the hand pass game. And then the Boston Bruins playing at home. They're the big bad Bruins, and the Blues went in there and took the cup from them. So there are some similarities there. I don't know that the Cardinals ever hit rock bottom like the Blues did, but the Cardinals have been an underachieving team all year, and until the last 10 games, and now 11 if they finish it today. So it's been a lot of fun to see. Sports are amazing in that way. I think that in the back of everyone's mind, I think people wondered, could they make a run? Could they make this interesting? Could they make this close? I don't think there's a soul, not one. And even in the Cardinals clubhouse, they'll tell you they believed it. But 10 in a row, 11 in a row. I mean, this is remarkable stuff.
Blues
And
won
Tom,
2019, by the way.
They did.
And I was going to say, Tom, it's amazing that you brought up the comparison, because I was going to ask everyone, are y'all getting those vibes of a 2019 Blues team with this Cardinals team? Because I'm kind of feeling that right now. And you asked earlier, Tom, about have the Cardinals been pretty much down in the cellar, or had that worst part of the season? I think June, I would say, was probably the worst part of our season.
And a little bit July, right before All-Star break, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll probably say that would probably be the comparison from the Blues in December and the Cardinals in June and July was our worst part of the year. But I'm getting these 2019 vibes that the Blues had that now this Cardinals team is having right now.
Definitely, that Blues team though, they won. They went on that long winning streak. I believe a lot earlier. It was January, and when they started with that Flyers game where they heard Gloria in the bar, and that was when Jordan Binnington started getting hot, and then they never really slid back. Like this Cardinals team, how many times have you said it? And I know we've all said it. Like that's it. I don't know that I can take much more. Like that game's going to be the one that we'll see tomorrow, but that game could be the one, and then the next day they bounce back, or I just don't see it now, and then they bounce back, and they just keep punching back. It's been pretty nice to see. Now there's a long way to go, but this has been fun. I mean, I chatted with a few Cardinals fans after the Sunday game, and one of them told me, yeah, but we're applauding a team for being the second wild card. Like we expected this team to win the division. I agree, we expected the team to win the division, but guess what? I'm having fun right now, and right. This is good. This is unexpected. They could very well make the playoffs here in the next coming week, and then take their chances. And I think that the reason we're excited about that is we've seen them win world championships in that same role, and I think that's it's attainable. I mean, the only team to me that is far and away better than them is the Dodgers. The Dodgers are a better team than they are, but in one game, with Adam Wainwright pitching and a stable of pitchers behind him in case something goes wrong, I'll roll the dice and take a chance with that, and then go get the Giants in a series. I'm not sure I want the Dodgers in a 5-game series. I'm not afraid of the Brewers right now, obviously. And then, I don't know enough about the NL East to trust the Braves because the NL East has fallen apart. I mean, the Mets collapsed. The Braves did a nice job at the trade deadline, but the Mets completely collapsed. The Phillies have been not bad, and Bryce Harper has been an MVP candidate. But this has been Cardinals and everybody else here in the last couple of weeks. I mean, it's been pretty special.
It has. And shouts out to Ms. Williams. She said earlier, hi, Fred, hi, Bunny, hi, Joe, and welcome, Tom.
Hey, all right. Good to be back.
Hey, Miss Williams.
I will say after Saturday's game, I tweeted saying, like, all year long, we've all been saying, that is the loss of the year. That's what's going to bury the Cardinals. But Saturday, right as soon as we locked that up, I said that is the win of the year. And I don't think that we've said that once this year. Like, that was the win of the year. And again, you came back late in the game. You, Darvish, for the first time since earlier this year, looked dominant. And you still found a way to win that game. And to me, that's still right now, that's the win of the year right now.
Yeah, biggest thing for the Cardinals right now is to stay healthy. Just saw an alert that Nolan Arenado left the game with lower back tightness, so hopefully that's not a big deal. Lower back tightness is usually a precaution, so they pull him out of there at the first hint of trouble. Hopefully that's not a big deal. But it's all about right now staying healthy. I mean, you want these players to be at the top of their game, and it's hard this time of year because they've been through a lot of games and they've all been grinding. But if this team stays healthy, they're going to be tough to stop. They have finally stabilized pitching. I think that's the biggest factor of all, is that the Cardinals have pitchers who can go 5 or 6 innings. That doesn't seem like a lot, but that was a lot to ask for back in June, where they were throwing anybody they could out there just to get some innings. So now they have a good rotation. When that happens, the offense kind of calms down a little bit, doesn't try to hit a 5-run homer. The defense has been good all year, so they're going to be fine. And the bullpen has been improved with McFarland and Garcia, and have really been able to slide into some roles. And while I know we grip the sides of the couch when we're watching this game, but the bullpen lately has been pretty strong. So hopefully it all works out. But the rotation being healthy has been a big, big part of this.
Having more than one pitcher than Adam Wainwright that you can depend on has definitely helped out the team a lot. Because it was kind of rough to where every 5th day we're like, all right, we just had a losing streak. We need Adam Wainwright to back us up and get us that W.
Yeah, I mean, who is this rotation? It's Michaelis, Happ, Lester, and Woodford. I mean, it's not the Drysdale and Koufax. It's not the Braves, Maddox and Glavine and Smoltz. It's pitchers who can just give you some innings. And if Jack Flaherty is good on Friday and he's going to join this rotation, or at least he's going to start on Friday, we'll see how he looks. But if he's back, boy, that'd be a huge, huge help, whether he's starting or coming out of the bullpen or whatever it is. And he's going to start on Friday. But it's a big deal to have arms. And, I'm just skipping ahead to 2022. I'm going to make sure, if I'm the Cardinals, that I'm stockpiling arms, because you can never have too much pitching. But they were just doing anything they could to keep this thing alive in the middle of the season. I give Mike Schultz some credit to work with what he had. Maybe the Cardinals, you could argue that they acted too late to gain pitching, but they did get it. They got it at the deadline. They were criticized for not doing enough with Lester and Happ, but as it turns out, those two were just with the doctor order, just some pitchers who can navigate a game and give Yachty something to work with, and so they're in a good spot right now.
And that was my only issue over these last few weeks now, is that I wish the Cardinals were more proactive back in June and July, how they were in August and September, acquiring the Lesters and the Happs. So maybe that margin, like, we could be actually playing for the Central and not, the wild card. But hey, right now we'll take it. I do want to bring up this comment that Ms. Williams had earlier. She says one thing about the team. is that they haven't given up, and usually a Schilt-led team does not give up. So I do want to ask if the Cardinals, or should I say when they clinch, should Schilt be in consideration for manager of the year?
He should be in consideration, but I don't think he'll get it. I think it'll go to one of the division winners, most likely. But yeah, I mean, he's done a marvelous job of managing the players that he had. He's got some good talent, but he did not have much in the way of starting pitching. He's worked with a bench that didn't have a ton of firepower. So he's done the best that he can. I do give him credit for benching DeYoung and playing Sosa. I think that was a move. I thought he gave DeYoung every opportunity to get to where he needed to be, but it just didn't work out. And so Sosa, the hotter player, the more energy, the better player, is playing shortstop. And he's been able to navigate through some tough times. All managers will make some moves that are controversial, and I'm sure people would gripe at some of his bullpen moves or managerial moves, but they did the same thing to La Russa. They did the same thing to the best managers in the history of the game. So, it does happen to the best of them. But he's been very good, and I would definitely consider him for National League Manager of the Year. I'm not sure that he gets it this year, though.
So what about one of the moves, which my father is a big proponent of, benching Matt Carpenter, and a rumor mill saying Carpenter wants to come back. What's up with that? Matt Carpenter. Matt Carpenter.
Yeah, Carpenter's his contract expires at the end of this year, so I don't believe he'll be back. And
we should.
That's something that I give Carpenter credit for how he handled this year. So he's maybe gotten more at bats than people would like, but he said at the beginning of the year, he called Nolan Arenado. He welcomed him to the team. He basically stepped aside and said, "Whatever you want me to do, I'll do," to the team. And he's been able to hang in there. And pinch hitting's not easy. The last couple of pinch hits, I think he's laced doubles both times. He's been pretty strong in that area here the last week. We all know that he's struggled. He went for 0 for 31 during a time, but he is under contract. He does have a uniform. They weren't ready to designate him for assignment or release him. They don't have a ton of left-handed bats, so they have what they have. And Matt Carpenter got a shot, but you're only seeing another 12 games of Matt Carpenter if he even plays in half of those, and that'll be it. But it's been a good career. 10 years of Major League service time. Will he play more? Possibly. Someone will give him a shot. But I don't think it'll be with the Cardinals. I think you're going to see the Cardinals save quite a bit of money coming off the books with Carpenter. I don't know if it's saving money, but they'll have money to spend with Carpenter and Martinez and Fowler and Andrew Miller coming off the books, about $60 million.
I think that Carpenter will end up in Kansas City. That's where I think he's going to go.
With manager Mike, could very well be.
Numbers in Kansas City, and I think him and Matheny got along decently well. And I will say I got a little emotional watching him hit that double the other night on Saturday, just because he was one away from 300 or 200, and you feel bad for the guy. Like we've seen Matt Carpenter at his
I don't feel
prime.
bad.
Like
right,
he's had his peak already, so I don't feel bad for him.
I'm saying it's sad seeing someone who went through 8 years of just great freaking baseball. He was our guy. After like Albert left and Holiday were gone, like he was the guy. We seen him at his prime, and it's sad seeing someone not be as good as they used to be. But I told you to beginning of the year, he's gonna get ABs and you're gonna get over it. So
I'm not getting over it. He's off the books.
But Joe, Bunny and I both said, he get the opportunities, but he ain't gonna take advantage of it.
Exactly. That's why I said I don't feel sorry. It happened. This is not the organization anymore. Your career, sunset. It's time to come to an end.
Yeah, it's it's Major League Baseball.
I'm just saying it's sad seeing when someone comes at it's sad watching Albert round first base because he can barely do it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just sad seeing when someone's not as good as they used to be.
That's what makes what Waino and Yachty are doing even more remarkable.
Exactly.
I guess.
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, those guys are really incredible. But Matt Carpenter's been a good Cardinal. But this is a business of winning. This is a business where these guys pass you up very quickly. Not everybody in the NFL is Tom Brady. I mean, these guys will pass you in a heartbeat. if you're not on your game. So Matt Carpenter's learned that, but he does get paid a handsome sum. So
to sit there and ride the bench and maybe pinch hit. Exactly. That's
he's been a good teammate.
So that was a mistake by management to give him all that money. That was definitely a mistake. They shouldn't have done that. But in regards to, let's talk about next year. We see what Tyler O'Neill has done this year. We see what Sosa has brought to the team. If you are a GM, would you go ahead and see about extending O'Neill now, or try to see what he does for a full season next year? And the same thing with Sosa. Do you go ahead and, I won't say give him an extension, but would you go ahead and give him that starting position, or would you go ahead and see about a Corey Seager or Javi Baez or Correa?
I'm definitely exploring the free agent market at shortstop. I think that it is too deep, and probably the only time you'll ever see it this deep at one position. I think it's just too much to ignore. So I don't know who they're going to get, but I'm pretty sure they're going to look around. You said the name Correa. That's somebody that really jumps out at me as a player who I think is better than even people realize. I think that he's dedicated to the game. I think he's a historian of the, cares about the history of the game. I think he would be a great Cardinal. I really do. I think he's a phenomenal player. The problem is he's going to ask for a long-term contract, and I don't know if the Cardinals want to go there or not. But Corey Seager probably will be out of their price range. I'm sure the Yankees or somebody's going to go after him. Somebody with unlimited funds. I think the Cardinals will take a look at a lot of free agents. And if it were me, I'd definitely look at Correa. I would definitely look at Trevor Story, who played with Nolan Arenado and who could be a big force in your lineup. And maybe there are some others on that list who might take shorter term, which sometimes is in the Cardinals' best interest to take somebody that's more of a 4-year deal rather than an 8 or 10-year deal. But I would take a look at the shortstop market for sure. Sosa is a really good player, but he can also play second base if you need to. He'd be a tremendous asset to this team as a utility infielder who gives them tons of energy, and he would play a lot. I mean, Edman used to be there. Edman's now your regular second baseman, but he shows you right now that he could be that. That's what I would do. And then I would bulk up on pitching. Lots and lots of pitching.
See, I'm so caught up because I'm an Astros fan and I love Carlos Correa. He's going off this year. If there wasn't Vladdy and Ohtani, he's definitely going to get MVP votes because he's having a great year this year. So I don't want to see him leave the Astros, but Carlos Correa is the dream for the Cardinals, I feel like. And the defense and the infield would be insane if they had him because he just makes plays that I haven't seen from shortstop in a long time. I think what the Cardinals need is Seager because we need that left-handed bat. We've been talking about that for years and years and years, and it still has not happened. But I think Trevor Story is probably the most realistic, honestly. But which I'd be okay with. Deep in the lineup a lot more. You don't have to put as much pressure on Tyler O'Neill. And Sosa could definitely be, like you said, that utility guy. Me, I don't think you lock up O'Neill yet just because we've seen what has happened before. DeYoung has hit 25 and 30 homers his first 2 years, and we locked him up. So I feel like that is not the right move right away.
Yeah, I hear that. To answer that O'Neill question, I think they will try to lock him up. I don't know when that will be, if it's right now, but I think they'll make sure that he's happy, that he's not going anywhere.
I think they will, but I don't think they should.
I don't know when. Yeah, I hear you. I don't know when that will be, but I do think he's a pretty special talent. I mean, he's got a ton of speed and athleticism. He's a really good outfielder, and the guy hits the ball a ton. He's got great pitch recognition. He's getting on base. It's hard not to like what he's been able to provide, and I get that. But what you're saying about DeYoung, but I see a better player, and a player that they've been high on for a while. I mean, I remember back when Bryce Harper was a free agent, and the question was, where's Bryce going to sign? Are the Cardinals going to sign him? And the Cardinals kind of stamped that out and referred to O'Neill as a player that they thought they could grow. And everyone's like, Tyler O'Neill, this guy, the guy that strikes out all the time. And he, just kept at it and kept pushing, and he's become one of their better players. You could make the case that of the position players, he is their MVP. I mean, Wainwright's the MVP of the team, but O'Neal, without O'Neal, they're not in this position.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I feel like still to this day, the outfielders of Adolis and Randy, I could care less that we lost them because they're not doing any better than O'Neal's doing. Like Randy had some, like crazy once in a lifetime experience last October in a weird year, and then Adolis has been okay. He's been good. He might win the Rookie of the Year, but I mean, I feel like our outfield's doing pretty good. I think Danny Mac said on air the other day that they've scored 2/3 of our runs or RBIs in the streak of 11 or 10 games. I'm getting ahead of myself, but 10 games that we won. Like, they're doing perfectly fine, and Carlson's a stud, and he's supposed to be a stud for a while.
Yeah, outfield looks good. I'll tell you, the other guy that I think a lot of teams would love to have is Lars Nootbaar.
Yeah.
And he's going nowhere. The Cardinals will hang on to him. I highly doubt that they'll be tempted to trade him, although they'll get offers because, of what happened to Rosarena and Garcia and everybody else you just referenced. I mean, I would hang on to Nootbaar. He's got freakish athletic ability. He looks like a player who could really grow in the organization. I would definitely hang with him. I'm looking forward to seeing what a Rosarena does in his career because I like him. But who knew he was going to become Babe Ruth in one postseason? It was amazing. But yeah, like you just said, he had a year.
Yeah, and he's come down to earth, and so is Adolis. Adolis had a fire start to begin the year, and he's come down to earth as well. So I think we're doing just fine with the outfield that we have, which is crazy to think about because 2 years ago we were like, this outfield is just it's not doing it, And now I feel like there's only one position that you can think of that's needs to be fixed on the team, and that's it.
Well, possibly was it with injuries too, though, right? Like with Bader. Well, let's say for this season, Bader when he was out, it fell apart. He came back, fell apart again. Now he's healthy and is looking so much better. I would think Bader is that key piece, our center fielder.
Bader
together.
Yeah, Bader has been a big factor here in their success, and I'm a fan of Bader's ability to do a lot of things. Obviously, his ability to field. I think his defense is great. He's a very good center fielder, but he's been, solid for them at the plate. A good 7-8 hitter, and eventually, I'd love to see Bader progress to what I think he was born to do, which is to be a leadoff hitter in Major League Baseball. He just needs to continue to work on the things that O'Neal worked on, which is, pitch recognition, ability to get on base, make a little better contact. He has so much speed. If he just made contact 20 more times, he'd probably be on base that many more times, just his ability to get from A to B. But yeah, the outfield's been good. I'm pretty happy with Dylan Carlson. I mean, Dylan Carlson with that, just coolness about him. He makes a play and nothing ever seems to be that big of a deal. But he's just a good, complete player and continues to grow right before our eyes. It's amazing. We've been talking about Carlson for a long time, but this is his rookie year.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of baseball ahead of him.
So 2 things. One, in regards to Carlson, he gives me Carlos Beltran vibes. You know what I'm saying? This real chill, laid back, switch hitter, plays his position well. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't look like he runs fast or plays hard, but he does, but just his style of play. And he just so smooth. Not as smooth as me, of course, but he does play
yeah, throw that in.
But he does play smooth on the field, at bat and defense. Second, let's talk about playoff mode. Should Carpenter be on the playoff roster?
No. No. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to make that call. No, and make sure that you have your arsenal of pitching that you need, and make sure that you have enough speed. I think you definitely have speed on that. Good base runners. Your regular thunder in the lineup, but you need good bench players. You need good speed. You need good defensive players for late in the game. So I'm leaning, more towards that than a Matt Carpenter.
Who are the bench players that you would put for the roster. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was gonna say I think Newbar could bring that speed.
Yeah.
And as we've seen recently, Schultz been double switching Carlson for Newbar lately, which is kind of crazy because like Carlson, he's a good defender, but Newbar, that's kind of what he's more known for. I feel like. Which going back to what you said, Fred, about how he's got that like kind of like cool vibe to him, makes me think of Saturday. Carantini hit that a base hit, but he was trying to stretch it for a double. Carlson just smoothly, just not as smooth as you, but he like picked up the ball and just calmly. I felt like he just calmly threw it into second, and they showed Caratini running like he was hustling as fast as he could. And Carlson just took his time. Didn't even look like he really tried, and threw him out at second, which could have led to a big inning for the Padres there. But I definitely get what you're saying about maybe not Beltran, because Beltran's like borderline Hall of Fame maybe. But I definitely get what you're saying, and then also with what Ackerman was saying about speed. Have someone for late innings for speed defense, but as you can see in the last couple of playoffs, World Series, pitching's key. So get as many pitches as you can as possible to be in that bullpen, dugout, whatever it is.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't see where Carpenter fits in a postseason roster.
And I don't know, can they? I feel like I've seen this before. Like, can Carpenter be on the bench, like not like as a bench player, but in the dugout during the playoffs? Because
yeah.
Okay, so there you go. There's his role, because as Arenado said when he got here, Carpenter's a big key piece of this team. That could strictly just be his voice and his leadership. Like I said earlier, Padres thought about trading for Nelson Cruz for his voice. Carpenter can very well be that in the playoffs. Like may not be going in there taking a big walk to start off an inning, but he can be there to hype some guys up. Be that hype man.
Yeah. 2011, Adam Wainwright was injured all year, but he was a big part of that dugout.
Yeah, so Carpenter could very well be that.
Definitely.
So, keeping with the Chorus Talk, as I said on the intro for you, Tom, you and Kevin Wheeler have an awesome show. Chorus Talk goes down on Facebook, usually on Mondays around 11 a.m. How great has it been to do that show and interact with the fans? And shouts out to you as well and Kevin for showing me love when I leave comments and the whole nine. I think you gave our show a shout out, a few months back or whatever. But shouts out to y'all. But just overall, your thoughts on the fun times y'all have usually on Mondays talking about Cardinals baseball with the fans.
Yeah, it's a good time. We do an hour show. I appreciate that. We call it the Cards Conference. So it's like we're calling a press conference, but the two of us just sit there and take calls or take questions and talk about the team. And it's been a nice way for us to kind of talk to each other and get our thoughts out as the week starts about what we think about this team. A lot of the season, it's been, some frustration and trying to figure out how to get them going. Of course, I'm like the eternal optimist, so I'm trying to keep everybody positive, but at the same time, pointing out some things that were not going well. But I appreciate that. We actually started it where I'm sitting right here, and I'm in my basement right now. And during the pandemic, we started doing this thing on Mondays just to kind of get our week going, and it's worked out really well. So we go a full hour, no commercials, kind of like you guys, and just take questions and have a good time with it. And Kevin could do that on his own if he had to. He's very, very talented. If I right now said, Kevin, I need you to go on KMOX for an hour straight, no commercials, and just talk, he could do that, no problem. So we have a good time with it. Fans, we've seen a lot of our listeners, jump in and the regular names that, including yourself, that kind of, jump in there and have a good time. And I think it has been very healthy for us mostly. I know the audience has really enjoyed it, but it's been something that we really wanted to do to kind of get our brains working to start the week. And I like being able to hear what Kevin thinks about the team, because a lot of times he and I think alike, but sometimes we do disagree. So it's nice to know how we reflected over the weekend, what went on.
So with that being said, do Do y'all see yourselves when the Blues season comes along having a Blues conference as well?
I think we probably will. Yeah, I think once the Cardinals finish, we'll do something on the Blues for sure. He and I are both big hockey fans. We follow every game, so we'll definitely be on top of that. Beyond that, I couldn't see any other sport being kicked around. I'm a big Indiana basketball fan, but I don't know that that's in the KMOX audience's wheelhouse. But Mizzou and SLU, for sure, we could talk a little college basketball. But yeah, I could see us doing something with the Blues. I used to do a podcast. It was called the Game Day Podcast with Cam Jansen. And we used to do it before every Blues game on the day of a game. And that was fun. And so that challenged you to really be on top of what was going on with the team and giving some opinions. And we did that during the Stanley Cup season, actually. So I remember when Bennington started playing well and we both were like, play the kid. Who knows what's the worst thing that could happen? And as it turned out, it turned out to be history. Little did we know.
So let me pick your brain. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, buddy. You go.
It's not a baseball question. It's soccer. He wants to keep the show going after hockey season. He said Mizzou and SLU 2 years from now when the SC soccer club is here. Are you all going to talk about that, or what's your background with soccer?
Yeah, definitely strong. I mean, I grew up, I played it as a kid, like a lot of kids did here in St. Louis. Not as long as some kids did, but I was more of a basketball player. But I love the game. I'm very excited about what it means for St. Louis. I love the location, downtown West. So I definitely pay attention to the sport, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to have MLS here. I think people are going to be stunned with the crowds. I think that will take center stage early. Before you even know who the players are, you'll be wowed by the energy of the crowd and the coolness of the stadium. And then after a while, we'll start to figure out what this team looks like. Taylor Schwellman, the St. Louisan, who's an analyst for ESPN, told me, they could wear any color uniform. They could play in any stadium. They could do whatever. They need to be good. Eventually you need to win to be a successful franchise. So, after the honeymoon period wears off, I think that'll be more of an analysis of like, how good is this team? Are they doing it right? Are they growing the right people? But I think for the first year, I think we're just going to have fun.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
And sorry, Joe, did you have a question?
Wasn't a question. I was just gonna tell him that I love every morning I wake up, I go on Twitter and I see your whole like grab a coffee, jump on KMOX, let's talk Cardinals. Like earlier in the year when we weren't doing so good, I'm like, all right. But now I'm like, okay, let's do this. Like I'm so excited. I
started doing it more consistently because the team is playing well. I got to figure out what I need to post tomorrow morning about that. But that also, we do that for ourselves too. I mean, I do that to pump myself up, to know that you all are out there. We see you. I mean, the audience has been amazing in the mornings. The Cardinals have a big, they're a big part of that. People listen to the games, turn off the radio, go to bed. They flip on the radio, and I'm on because they left it on KMOX. So Debbie and I have this show where we do news, traffic, weather, sports, entertainment, business. But we know what a lot of people want to hear is the Cardinals, so we definitely rotate that through the show, and we drink tons of coffee. But we have fun. We know what people like, and it's a good feeling. I mean, when the Cardinals are good, the city feels good. So we just try to make you feel good in the morning. Look, there's a lot of stuff going on in our lives right now. People are dealing with a lot of things. So, this is a nice distraction and something positive.
So over the last 2 weeks now, we've had a few key games that came into Bear Stadium, or key moments or series. The one with the Dodgers. I know that you have a lot of the inside track in regards to the organization. Tell us how the Pujols coming back into town as a Dodger was compared to him as an Angel, and then second, the 2011 World Series team came back in town last week, and as Joe said, that Saturday night game was just amazing. So if you can just tell us from your point of view, your perspective, how both of those moments, how it was perceived, and if you have any inside information in regards to just how everything was throughout that time.
Yeah, I think the 2011 team being back was embraced by everybody. It was great to have them back in the house. You could feel the energy coming out of the speaker, whether you're listening on the radio or on TV. The stadium was rocking, and the Cardinals won that dramatic game with Tyler. But it's great to see all those players back. It was a very, very special team. And, to have David Freese and Chris Carpenter, Lance Berkman, and all these great names from that season, that was pretty awesome. To have everyone back together. There was one big name that was missing, though, Albert Pujols. They don't do it without him. And Albert Pujols showed up a little earlier with the Dodgers. And to answer your question, I thought it was bigger when he came back with the Angels because it was the first time. And there was a lot of question, I think, within himself. What will it be like? What will I feel? What will the crowd feel? And one thing he told me on my garage happy hour was that it is the best moment of his career. And I was like, what? And he said, regular season. I mean, I won the World Series a couple of times, but he said in my career, I think that was maybe one of the best, if not the best moment of my career when he got the ovation coming back home. I thought that meant a lot to him. I think that he had a lot of mixed emotions about everything that went on, but he wanted to be loved and appreciated, and he most definitely was. Now, when he came back as a Dodger, it was still great, but it was the second time that he had come back with a team. And also at that time, the Cardinals weren't playing all that well. So, I'm not sure that the crowds were as massive for him. I will say this, though. He's really something. I mean, the guy hits a home run in his first at bat. He's still got it. He might not be the player he was when he was 22, but
Still out.
He's still Albert Pujols, and he still gets the job done. And he's going to go in the Hall of Fame as a Cardinal. He and Yadier Molina are going to be linked together as brothers, as they like to call themselves, forever. I hope they go into Cooperstown at the same time. That would be pretty neat. But even if they don't, the fact that they're both going to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame as Cardinals will be great. They'll both be wearing red jackets, and it's a beautiful friendship. And then put Yachty in that, or Waino in that conversation, because he's not going to go into Cooperstown, but he'll be a Cardinals Hall of Famer and wearing red jackets with them. That's going to be the group for us, like it was for people before us with Brock and Gibson, with Musial and Shane Dienst, with Ozzie and Suter, and McGee. This is our crew right there. Yachty, Pujols, Waino. You'll see those three for years and years and years linked together. That's pretty awesome.
And Mr. Williams asked the question, did the Cardinals make a mistake letting Pujols go?
They did not. They did make an attempt to bring him back. I just felt like at the time, I didn't like it at the time. I wasn't angry with the Cardinals necessarily. I wasn't necessarily angry with Pujols or the Angels or anybody else. I was just sad because I wanted to see him finish his career as a Cardinal. But I don't know how you pass up a 10-year contract of that magnitude where the Angels were just ready to give him go over the top what anyone else was offering him. I think that, it was tough at the time. I think that, pride is certainly a factor. Money is somewhat of a factor, but I mean, it is California compared to Missouri. So the cost of living is a little bit different. I think that was a pride thing, but also Artie Moreno gave him an offer that he couldn't turn down. So the Cardinals didn't make a mistake because they just couldn't go to that level, and they ended up being able to sign a lot of players and keep a roster intact. Some of the players that we still see today, and Yachty and Waino, who knows? So they were able to go to the World Series again in 2013. Came 2 games away from beating the Red Sox. Probably shouldn't have pitched to David Ortiz, maybe to win that series. But it was 2015. They won 100 games. I mean, they were right in the line to do it again, and then the Cubs knocked them down. And when they started to gain resurgence, I'm not sure that the Cardinals stay at that level with Pujols earning 10 years, $250 million or whatever it was. I'm not sure that the St. Louis Cardinals are able to keep a core together with a player making that much money. Today, it's a little bit different. Now, 10 years, $250 doesn't seem that bad. That's what some of those shortstops probably going to make. But then in 2011, that was a lot of money.
I think the organization got – well, actually, both parties won. The Cardinals won because they didn't have a multi-million-dollar contract on the books years later and not getting the person and talent. And then the Angels won because they got somebody won, and Pujols got all that money. So they both won technically, but they both didn't get any World Series out of it either, going to these, him leaving to the Angels and the Cardinals not having them. Neither one has won World Series since. So
that's right. I mean, Pujols hasn't gone to the playoffs, so he's got a shot now. The Dodgers are really good unless the Cardinals knock him out in the wild card game. But I think it worked out. I hate to, again, I love sports where one player stays with one team for his entire career. It's rare, but it would have been great. But as it turns out, I think it was good for the St. Louis Cardinals. For Pujols, you can make the argument. Is he happy? Was he happy? And if so, then great. If he stays a Cardinal, and maybe there's a chance that he could have won a little bit more, but I'm not sure they could have built around him like some people think that they might have been able to because of the money that he was making. Would he have broken all of Stan Musial's records? Yes, he would have. Yes, he would have, and would have been known as the greatest Cardinal ever.
I don't think with playoffs got rid of him though.
And with that being, I feel that's going to be to him his biggest regret. He's not going to say it publicly right now. Maybe 10 years down the road, when they have a story about him or he's getting interviewed, whatever, maybe then he'll say it. But I think internally, he's going to feel that his biggest mistake was leaving the Cardinals.
And the Angels had a lot of firepower. That was their plan, but they just never could get it going. They still do. Still, it seems like they always have great players, and they still just can't get it going.
Well, that's why they drafted 8 to 10 pitchers this year in the draft. That's the biggest mistake. They don't ever get pitching, But what I said earlier was I think if we would have kept Albert, we don't make the playoffs as much as we did.
I agree.
He left because
he
still had good years with the Angels. Still hitting like 20 homers, averaging on that, but we just. I don't know where you put him and where he helps out at NLT.
No, and in May, when he became available suddenly, which was a surprise, there were a lot of people, including me, that selfishly wanted him to be a Cardinal. But where is he playing? I mean, he's not playing first base. Now, they've got a guy there. And where else is he going to play? Is he going to show up every once in a while and come off the bench? I don't know if that was great for him, great for the Cardinals, and maybe cooler heads prevailed when there was a lot of emotion running high about what he would have looked like as a Cardinal and selling tickets. And, I think if that had happened in September, totally different story. I think you sign him in a heartbeat. And by the way, there will be a DH next year. So.
Yeah.
Bo told me that. She told me early in the show. She was like, "It's coming next year." I said, "We'll see." MLB can change a rule in the middle of the season. Ask these pitchers. You're there.
Yep, we shall see. Once again, this is the Platform Sports Talk Show, your Wednesday night sports delight. Thanks for tuning in. I am your boy Smooth, along with
Bunny,
Joe Bell,
and special guest
Tom Ackerman.
Hey,
that's what natural he is. He said,
I remember.
Who was it that we had on that, was it Tom Ackerman that had a baseball and did little? Who did that?
Oh, yeah. Where is that baseball?
Oh, so it was him. Okay. Good memory, Joe.
I think it was me. I don't have a baseball. Oh, well.
We had someone on and they were all doing something with the baseball and they're like, "Oh, Tom Ackerman."
I think it was me. I think I had a ball and I'm like, Tom.
Yeah. You're natural. That was you.
Yeah, because I used to have a ball sitting down here somewhere.
Let's see. Miss Williams has a question. How do y'all feel about adding the DH next season? Personally, I love it. After last year with the shortened season, seeing the DH, I think it added more depth to the Cardinals. Because of course we talking about the Cardinals and being the National League team, but just having that extra bat. I said this a while back, but people don't want to see pitchers hit. Bottom line, they don't pay money to see a pitcher swing and more than likely miss or barely hit it past the pitcher's mound. They want to see offense, and having the DH is going to provide that opportunity to have more offense in the game. So I love it. I welcome it. Let's go ahead and get it on.
Yeah, I'm good with it. And I was a National League guy forever and said, I love the strategy of the game and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm good. In fact, the Cardinals probably would benefit from having a DH this year. That would have really worked out for them. They have some options. And so I'd like to know who that DH is next year. I'd like to see what Nolan Gorman ends up doing next year. Maybe he gets to play a little bit.
Do you think it's whenever we have the DH, do you think we go get someone? Do you think it's going to be Juan Yepes? I don't really see Nolan Gorman as a DH, but obviously Tommy Edmonds not a DH either. So what do you think happens?
I think they'll look around a little bit, but it's not bad to try to get a lefty bat. Would be kind of nice. But I think there's some internal options. I think Yepes, you just mentioned him. I do think you could see if Edmonds playing second base and they want to have Gorman around, maybe Gorman comes in and does it once in a while, or maybe they bring in somebody who has some experience at first base, Albert Pujols, and have Goldschmidt, as a DH every once in a while, taking a day off. Who knows? It's going to be part of the game, though, and I totally accept it. I'm past it now. I'm ready to go with DH. I'm good. I want to see what people want. Whatever puts people in the seats and what has them listening to the radio is fine with me. So yeah, I'm definitely I'm on board with the DH now.
If you would have asked me a couple of years ago, I would have been like, no. I like you said, the strategy of the NL. But then you said like getting people in the seats Saturday for the first pitch. That place was rocking, and I want to see that all the time. So, yeah, whatever it is. And then if you go back to, like you said, you can give Goldie a day off. I feel like that's, besides the pitching for the Brewers, I feel like that's a big reason why they are where they are. And you could say that about the 2016 Cubs. They were able to move a lot of pieces around. So, go for it, give Goldie a day off, give Nato a day off, and put him at the DH or – I think we have the right pieces. It would be nice to go out there and get a Nelson Cruz, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, probably not. I think they're going to spend their money on a shortstop, and if not, I think they're going to bulk up on pitching. And if anything, if you want to add a backup catcher, perhaps, and Kisner could be somebody that maybe. I love Kisner, but maybe if Kisner has some value in a trade because Ivan Herrera is the next catcher that you want to take over for Yachty, perhaps you go get a backup catcher. I don't see a lot of moves beyond that, but who knows? I mean, but to me, it's you spend some money on a shortstop and go from there.
What do you think of people like Greinke and Verlander?
Been great pitchers throughout their career. And as the Cardinals have shown, they can take veteran pitchers and plug them right into the rotation and be good. So I'm not opposed to that at all. I'd be curious to see who's out there and what they might be able to acquire. But I think I'm looking more towards making sure that bullpen is in top condition. I'd like to add a starter if I can, but looking at next year, it looks pretty crowded. If Waino's coming back to be with Yachty, you have Flaherty and Hudson coming back. You have Michaelis coming back. You have potentially Lester. You could convert one of your younger guys into a starter also. You got Woodford. You have Oviedo.
Do you think Liberatore starts here if he has a good spring?
I absolutely do. I mean, I think Matthew Liberatore is going to be a candidate for the rotation. So they're going to have a lot of options.
I just get nervous because beginning of the year when we had our first first show before baseball season started. Funny enough, I said the bullpen's one of my favorite parts of the team because going into it looked pretty solid, obviously.
Yeah.
But I said our rotation still feels sketchy to me, and even with all those people you just named, there's not but one, maybe two guys that are like for sure a shoe-in to me.
Yeah,
like,
we were leaning on
like,
Daniel Ponce de Leon and,
Right. John.
And we thought Martinez
John
was going
Gant.
to do something again this season. Martinez didn't pan out again.
Carlos Martinez. I mean,
Like,
those
I'm so
guys are gone.
disappointed. Like,
Man, he has to become like a forgotten guy. It's like,
yeah, I'm just like, all that we just, man.
I feel
That's like that. You blink your eyes, you're like, we had Martinez, like, even at the beginning of the season, he was there. And it's just like, what happened?
Yeah, if
Right.
they would have gotten one of those guys like a Taiwan Walker at the beginning of the year, like I feel like we'd be maybe not in the division race, but we'd be better off than 4.5 games up. Like there was guys out there beginning of the year that we could have signed, and a lot of people were saying we probably could use another pitcher. But you know what? I'm not going to complain about it because the Cardinals are in the playoffs right now. I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah, they got they put a lot into that Michaelis was going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that Ponce and Gant could be okay. I think Carlos was always a wild card to see if he would be able to keep it together for a full season. But I think the surprise was, maybe it was just a mild surprise because he was injured already, was that Miles Michaelis wouldn't be able to go. And he wasn't able to go till, towards the end of the season. So that was a tough one. You also didn't know that Jack Flaherty would be out May 31st until, to be determined, and now still. So those were big blows to the team, but they found a way to keep it together, and here they are. I mean, It's unreal, man. I mean, they're sitting out while we've been talking, they just keep scoring.
Yeah, and hey, Miles had a good start again today. He went 7 innings, and
that's you got 8-2 in the top of the 8th, man.
And he's still pitching. Like, he's not showing any signs to come out the game at all. So yeah,
Goldie just homered. Now it's 10-2.
We'll take it. So what are your thoughts? I want to start with Joe first, then you, Tom, and then Bunny. What are your thoughts now on the 7-inning doubleheader games?
I don't know.
I feel like Friday's going to be our first one. I don't know. I liked them last year with how our schedule was because of COVID. I don't know how I'm going to feel about it on Friday, but I don't know.
I just deal with it right now. It was fine last year, like you said, because of the condensed schedule and because they had to squeeze in games. That was nice. But now that they have it this year, it's less important to me. I'd like to go back to the 9-inning game. But from a consumer standpoint, it's a quick way to get 2 games in and get some things done. If you're paying attention, it's not 2 3.5-hour games. It's 2 shorter games. But I'm fine either way. I guess I'd prefer them to be regular 9-inning games if I had a choice.
You know me, I'm all about progressing, making it faster. 2 games, 7 innings, sign me up as a baseball fan. I can deal with the shorter time frame.
No, it's fine.
I mean, I can deal with the old school ways again. Jovo and I are like, I get it. You want the historical side and the preservation of the game, But humanity, people are changing and evolving. We need to evolve with it and a little faster.
Yeah,
that's one way, and it's still getting good product. It makes every inning even more valuable instead of like, oh, we got another inning. Hey, 2 innings make a difference. So 7 instead of 9, yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And it makes it a little more intense. They're all a little more important. Every inning's a little more important. I get that side of it too. So yeah, I could go either way on it. I'll be paying attention on Friday, I guarantee you. And I'm looking forward to seeing Jack pitch in that second game.
So what do you think of in like the playoffs if we get there? I'm still saying if, just in case. But if, like, do you like the whole what the Rays do with a what's the freaking word that I'm thinking
of? Opener.
Yeah, opener. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. With like Flaherty and Hudson doing that, or maybe if you have to, Flaherty, Hap, or Hap and Dakota. I don't know. Do you think we'd look into something like that if we got to that?
I think they will.
Series?
I do. I think they will do that. So I think that if you're in a division series, your top starter will have already pitched the wild card game, Adam Wainwright. So he goes somewhere in games 3 or 4 to save your season or to win the series one way or the other. So games 1 and 2, you're looking at Lester. You're looking at Michaelis. You could be looking at Hap, or you could be looking at an opener like Flaherty back with Hudson backing him up, or you could go with Flaherty with
Woodford.
Hap backing him up, or Woodford, or yeah. So I think the Cardinals have some options there. I'll be very interested to see what they do in the wild card game, because at the first hint of trouble, does Wainwright get pulled, and do they start throwing just everybody at you? You know,
I think
just
you
to get
have
through
to,
the
just
game.
because it's literally do or die. You know, you
Yeah.
have to win that game, and luckily we have not been in one of those games yet. Watching some of these games the last couple of years, not even a fan of these teams.
Well, we're about to be.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. The Brewers are going to be up only 8.5 after tonight.
With what, like 11 to go?
Get it down to 7.5 tomorrow. No, just kidding, of course. But,
keeps on going down. Here come the Cardinals.
Let's go. Here they come. Let's win that division,
baby.
But
let's see. That was a lot about Cardinals talk. Great conversation. We go to the Cardinals. Let's talk about your other show real quick. The Garage Happy Hour. That show has been a success. Who would you say so far has been maybe your favorite guest?
Great question. I've had so many that had a great impact on me. I think the most viewed one, I'm pretty sure, was Albert Pujols, and that one was really special to me because the Angels asked him and went down to the clubhouse and asked him about it, and he said yes. And we just were able to reminisce and catch up, and I hadn't talked to him in a while, so that was a really special one. Sterling K. Brown, who was my high school classmate here in St. Louis. So he's a year younger than me, but that was the one that really propelled the show to a next level. I had a good first 4 shows, including Chris Pronger and Ozzie Smith. But when Sterling came on, it brought in a non-sports audience that just pushed the show to a level that even I didn't anticipate, and I really appreciated it. I'm just a dude sitting in his garage drinking a beer, interviewing celebrities, and it was really fun. And I just kind of kept it light. Sterling and I had a great chat, just kind of catching up like 2 old friends, and so that was another one that really stayed with me. We had some serious conversations as well during the pandemic and during a lot of racial tension in our country. So those conversations I thought were real and raw and honest. But we also had a lot of fun on the show, and we keep it going. So I kind of took a little time off of it, and now I've been kind of bringing it back maybe once a month just to have a guest on, while I've been concentrating on covering the Cardinals and on another show that I've been working on called the Golf Happy Hour. But the Garage Happy Hour tomorrow, as you mentioned, is going to be Torrey Holt, and I look forward to seeing Torrey again. I covered him throughout his career with the Rams, and he's just one of the best guys. So I'll be sitting right up there in my garage, drinking a cold one, talking to Torrey tomorrow. It's gonna be fun.
Hopefully, you can eventually say Hall of Famer Torrey Holt. I'm waiting for that.
I will be bringing that up. I don't expect him to bring it up, but I'm going to bring it up to him. He doesn't even have to answer. I'm just going to tell the audience that this guy should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He is one of the best receivers in the history of the game. A remarkable player. One of the best route runners the league's ever had. Rams don't win the Super Bowl or do what they did without him.
Is there anyone that you want to have on the show that's like a St. Louis celebrity? Maybe not even just a sports person, but like, I don't know, like Jenna Fisher. Like, that'd be cool, you know?
Yeah, it'd be cool to have Jenna Fisher. Yeah, I like your T-shirt, by the way. I would be cool to have Jenna Fisher on. One guy who I almost had, so the only time I ever had a guest, sort of, I just put he had the link to come on the show, but he was very busy that day, and I ended up going solo, just answering questions because I was waiting for him to surprise us all. Was Nelly?
Oh
it
wow!
So Nelly, he had the link, but they warned me that he was busy shooting. I think he was shooting a video.
I would say Burger King commercial.
Yeah. And it was, I can't. It was 5:30 Central Time live. I mean, that's when the show is. So that was the window that I had, and it just didn't work out. He was not able to click on the link in time and do it. So it'd be fun to give that a shot. But I've had a lot of fun with it. The one pursuit that I was proud of was getting John Hamm on the show, and he was really, really good. And then, I think Wayno and Yachty. So I really want to have those two on together. So whether it's the garage happy hour, or one thing I thought about was I started doing this golf happy hour where we take celebrities out on the golf course. We're mic'd up and we have a camera following us around. Pat Maroon did the last one, Ozzie Smith before that. I think the ultimate would be to get my crew down in Jupiter and during spring training, get Yachty and Wayno out on the golf course together. I think it'd be fun to see them interact. That'd be a really good one.
One episode that I did like as well was when you had Taylor Rooks.
I love Taylor. Yeah. So Taylor actually reached out to me after Lou Brock's funeral because I spoke at his funeral. I was honored that the family asked me to speak, and she was at the funeral but had to leave right away to fly back to New York for an assignment. But she made sure to send me a note thanking me, and it really touched me. And we stayed in touch, and she knew about the Garage Happy Hour, and I said, let's do the show. Do you want to do the show? She said, absolutely. So we had a good time. Yeah, she was great. She's going to be, if she isn't already, she's going to be a big, big star.
Yeah, she is already. She's that deal. She is definitely that deal. So let's continue on. You brought up so many celebrities that you have already had these conversations with. How important is it to keep healthy relationships when dealing with celebrities and athletes?
Yeah, it's a good point. The one thing that I always try to do is be honest in my reporting, and honest in my line of questioning, and ask the questions that I think people want asked, but do it in a way that is conversational. So I think in that show in particular, the one thing I wanted to make sure that the guests knew was I'm not bringing them on to come up with some viral answer that's going to go viral and go all over the internet. I mean, that's just a conversation that I want to have with the person and make them real to the audience and relatable. But when I'm asking a question of a subject on KMOX and it's a news conversation or an interview with somebody on a team or a front office, I do want to make sure that I'm asking the right questions and doing what I need to do as a journalist. The golf happy hour, that one is just pure fun. So when I had Pat Maroon, we're just out there having a good time. I did interview him a couple of times on the course, but mostly that was just a way to see what he was like playing with one of his friends. And that's kind of how that show is designed. The garage, that's just two people catching up. You almost sometimes forget there's even an audience. We're just sort of talking back and forth and having a good time. But yeah, I definitely, developing relationships with the people that I cover is important. It also, speaking to them on and off the record gains trust, and then when you do need a piece of information and you do get the opportunity, like I do sometimes with Mike Sheldon, John Mozeliak, to break news about the Cardinals, it's because we've developed a relationship of trust over the years. And we have, as my daughter just walked in the room doing laundry. I'm proud of you. Nice job.
Small wins.
So awesome. That we develop those relationships and that there's that trust involved, and so they understand what I'm looking for is they know ahead of time. Not that I tell them what the questions are going to be, but they know I'm going to ask and what I'm going to ask and what pretty much, where I'm going to go with things. I think it just makes for a better conversation. I'm not into gotcha interviews. This isn't 60 Minutes. If KMOX asked me to do that with somebody, I'd do it in a certain way, though. I do it in a way that, I'm always looking out for the audience. That's my number one goal, is that our listener is satisfied with how an interview has gone, and that they have the information that they need, and that they've been also entertained, and that they've learned something.
Can I ask a quick journalist question? You mentioned about off the record. So if you give an interview or talk to someone and they say, hey, I'm going to tell you this off the record. With that information, is that never to be repeated, or you can say it to somebody verbally, it just can't be printed? Or is that the same thing if it's off the record, they get leaked to the media when we say sources say that this person is going to get traded, but it hasn't been, official yet? Like, what's this off the record stuff?
Yeah, if someone tells you something off the record, that is not for public knowledge. So if player X told me that off the record this and that has happened, that's for my own knowledge. So something that happened, or if a manager or a front office person told me something off the record, that's so that I understand the background of what's happening. So I have a little more knowledge when I'm speaking about a subject, so that I understand what's going on. That's not to be repeated publicly, and that's to stay between me and the subject. When you have a source, that is an anonymous source who wishes to not be identified, who's giving you a piece of information that you have corroborated, that you have confirmed. And at KMOX, we do not run with one piece of information. We make sure that it's confirmed by two sources. And then we will go with that piece of information if we feel that it's appropriate to do so. So we absolutely, want to make sure that we're undefeated when it comes to accurate information. So if we're giving you something on KMOX, you can pretty much lock it down that it's real, that we got it from a source. And sometimes that source has to remain anonymous. And no, I do not give up sources. Never. Not even to my own colleagues, not even to my coworkers. If I get something, I get it, I confirm it, and that's the way it is.
So in social media age, Twitter, Facebook, that is considered a source?
No, that is not a source.
Okay.
Twitter is, you got it from Twitter. So, Joe reported on Twitter that blah, blah, blah. Or, Ken Rosenthal reported on Twitter that this happened. That's for everybody to see. So I'm not the only one to see that. Everyone saw it. Now, when somebody reports on Twitter that they confirmed through a source that the Cardinals have acquired so-and-so, that is just like me going on the radio and saying I've confirmed through a source that the Cardinals. It's the same thing. So it is, but I would warn you to, be careful what you're reading on Twitter, because I would follow people who follow the club closely. Doesn't mean that sometimes there are people on Twitter that don't regularly report on the club that might get a piece of information, put it out there, and as it turns out, it was correct. But I'm always careful about that. Like, well, let's just say, for example, KMOX does not just go running around on the air saying what's on Twitter. I mean, if we see something on there, unless it comes from a credible journalist, we will cite them as their report. So Jeremy Rutherford of The Athletic has reported that the Blues are looking to trade Vladimir Tarasenko. That's how I would frame that. I cite where I got that from. But if I, from an anonymous source, have something that I have to report, I would report that independently.
You gotta look out for that fake Rosenthal and Jeff Passan. Get you sometimes.
Those are out there too. Those are most definitely out there.
Yeah.
Man, crazy. So this has been an excellent interview. Just a few more questions for you before we go ahead and leave. You made an announcement recently at Ballpark Village about NASCAR. Can you make that announcement here on the show as well? Because it's such a cool thing that's going on.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That was a fun day at Ballpark Village, and it's something. So, in full disclosure, so I do work with the racetrack, Worldwide Technology Raceway, as a consultant and a ambassador for the track. So I've been helping them on some of their messaging and also their pursuit of events and what we do moving forward. So I had known for quite a while that they were pursuing the NASCAR Cup Series and that they did get it. And then that official announcement at Ballpark Village on that Wednesday, is a week ago today, was one of the greatest days I've had. I was honored that they asked me to be part of that history. So a NASCAR Cup Series race is coming to St. Louis, specifically Worldwide Technology Raceway in Madison, Illinois, on June 5th. And why is that such a big deal? It is the biggest series in motorsports. It is the most popular series in all of motorsports, aside from, in Europe, Formula One. But in the United States, NASCAR is far and away the most watched, the most followed. And it is like landing a World Series in St. Louis every year. It's that kind of impact on the economy, $60 million a year on the region. It will have worldwide media, and specifically the eyes of racing will be on St. Louis, on top of the fact that they have IndyCar and NHRA. A NASCAR Cup Series is the first time it's ever happened. It's a track that's great for racing. It's a very competitive track. I think people will really enjoy it. And I'm really excited for the group because Curtis Francois, who owns the track, literally saved it from being demolished. They were going to destroy that track and sell everything for scrap metal and just start over. And he saw it, and as a former driver and someone who's experienced in commercial real estate, decided, no, I think that I can do something with this. And he told the mayor and the representative of that area that he was going to pursue a NASCAR Cup race. And I think they thought he was crazy. Pretty much everybody thought that this would never happen. And he just kept at it, and he was able to get it. And why did they come here? Because they believe in hard workers like Curtis Francois and his group, but also I think they really like St. Louis as a market. And typically when NASCAR puts its fingerprints on you, they don't leave. So if they're calling this a multi-year agreement, I think it's going to be here for a long time. And it's the first time the Metro East has ever had something of this magnitude. I mean, everything that comes through is on the Missouri side, the Dome, Enterprise Center, Busch Stadium, Chaffetz, whatever. They've had all these big events on that side of the river. Now the Metro East gets its big event. And I think that you're going to see development around that track that will blow your mind. I think over the years, I think they're going to really develop that side, and that region's going to get a nice boost. It's going to be nice.
Yeah, shouts out, man. NASCAR coming very soon. You said that the event's going to be when? Is that next year in June?
It's June 5th of next year. Yeah.
Ooh,
which is a Sunday.
I wonder how much are tickets for that compared to NFL tickets and hockey tickets and tickets.
Yeah, it's like landing, even though it's just one event, it is like landing the biggest NFL game of the year. I mean, it'll draw that kind of a crowd. They'll probably have 60,000+ in there. And it'll be on Fox. It'll be on the big Fox. It'll be all the attention on Sunday. It is like having the marquee NFL game here in St. Louis, but even bigger than that. It'd be like having an NFL playoff game in St. Louis once a year.
Nice. And yes, Ms. Williams, it is definitely good to see some investment on the east side. So,
I agree.
As much pub as we can get. I mean, just look at what happened when we had the PGA Championship a couple years ago when Tiger Woods and all them came. I mean, that was just an amazing time for St. Louis.
That was a good time.
It really put St. Louis on the golf map even more. I know we just had the Ascension here recently, and I know there's going to be so many other events that the PGA is going to want to have here because of what we bring in regards to our passion for sports from a St. Louis perspective.
I agree. I think you're going to see the Ascension really grow over the next few years, and I do think you're going to see the PGA Tour come back to St. Louis. That there's nothing official yet, but there's a lot of speculation that Belle Reve might get another one, and maybe more than that. So we'll see.
Nice.
I think that golf is alive and well here. I think we're now a golf destination, and yes, the PGA Championship and everybody involved in that great event are to be thanked for that, and the membership at Belle Reve for voting it through and allowing that to happen in 2018. I don't know what's officially to come just yet, but I know that there's a lot of thought out there that we could have something coming our way here in the next few years.
I just love all the stuff going on for St. Louis, and it's only going to get better, with hockey coming back, if the Cardinals keep it up, with soccer starting. I love it. Makes me happy.
We got to, we got to support this city. I mean, we've got to, when St. Louis City named that soccer team St. Louis City, and I don't care where you live. If you live in Wentzville, Oakville, Belleville, you're from St. Louis. I mean, that's where you tell people, right? When you go out of town, we're all from the same town. We're all from St. Louis. That's your city. So it's NASCAR. That was a regional win. The Cardinals are a regional team. That's that sort of regionalism I hope carries through for everybody. And there's a lot of pride in that. St. Louis is our town. That's our city. And so let's support it. Let's support the city. Let's support our restaurants. Let's do what we can to get foot traffic in the city so we have less crime. Let's get people out and about and show a lot of pride in our town because it's awesome, especially this time of year. I'm looking forward to the weather tomorrow. I'm going to get downtown, get to work. I got Cardinals pregame over at Ballpark Village. It's going to be beautiful weather. Cardinals are in Milwaukee, but I do the pregame at Ballpark Village, and then, probably grab something nice to eat downtown and, take it all in, man.
See, Bunny, people
Nice.
love this time of year. The cool air, the Cardinals playing some good baseball.
Tom, just tell her that we should have playoff baseball in September. We shouldn't be started in October. I don't want to keep competing with NFL and hockey. I'm just saying, let the boys of summer hit with the beginning of fall in September. You keep hearing me talking about the change of baseball.
I'm going to tell you something right now. Everyone loves the Blues, but it's no competition for the Cardinals in September and October. That's just not it.
I know, but at the same time, we don't have to treat it like it's a fall sport. That's what football does. If I'm talking about high school football, St. Louis has some rocking high school football games, Friday Night Lights, Saturday. We've had some good games. Let's leave that for fall and leave Cardinals baseball and MLB baseball should wrap up in September. My birthday should be World Series time. Okay? That's how it should work. JS, I did. September 25th. Nope. I turn another year, and I should be like, oh, it's ready to watch some World Series baseball. Not, oh my God, when the playoffs gonna start. Come on now.
Nope.
Yeah, it even goes into November.
Yeah, that's crazy. Come on now. No, yeah. Baseball should not be in October and November.
Life is, okay, let me tell you. Me and my husband chose our wedding late October for that reason. For baseball, we celebrate our anniversary every year watching the World Series. It's gonna be like that for the rest of our lives. It's the best.
If Rob Manfred or whoever else can be commissioner, they may change it. I'm just speaking this up now. Maybe 10 years, 20 years. I may have gray hair all over my head. But baseball
ain't gonna be here 10, 20 years.
Well, Tom will still be around. So Tom, you'll witness it 20 years from now.
I'll be here.
Talking about World Series baseball in September.
I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere.
Cool.
So my last question is for you, Tom, is I know Joe asked about St. Louis celebrity or athlete, but who is someone that you would like to interview who is who is not from the local area that you would love to have on your show?
Michael Jordan.
Mm.
Michael Jordan's my
good answer.
Yeah. Yeah, he's my all-time favorite. I was just glued to The Last Dance. I could watch that whole thing over again. There's something about his competitive drive, how he almost made things up in his head just to give himself an edge.
Right.
I look like the easygoing, mild-mannered guy over here, but I'm very competitive, and I do that sometimes with myself just to get an edge. So if I think that somebody doubts me, I like to prove them wrong. I just do that in my own head. And I just always, since I was a little kid, he was And the other one's Tiger Woods, although I have been able to chat with Tiger before, not for a very long time. But he'd be another one. But Michael Jordan, I mean, I just, boy, I'd love to talk to him about sports and get his thoughts on his career and on how basketball is today. And, you know, to this day, he still is the greatest athlete that I have ever seen.
Man, that means I can use you as an advocate for St. Louis to get an NBA team. So you're saying
I'd be all for it.
NASCAR, you're saying support baseball, restaurants, ballpark. But yeah, add the NBA team to that list too, please. Thank you.
I'd be all for it. You got a couple guys at some point when their careers come to an end, and I hope it's not for a long, long time. But Jason Tatum and Bradley Beal might have something to say about that.
Right. We shall definitely see. Ladies, did y'all have any more questions for our special guests?
I have questions, but I'm looking forward to Michelle Smallman's feeling hot tweet tonight and your coffee tweet tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'll come up with some. I got to tweet one tonight too. I got to come up with something tonight. I'm pretty excited.
So Ms. Williams says she's not sure that the FCL is ready to support pro basketball.
Well,
not ready to support. Maybe not right at this very moment, but they sure have a building to do it, and now it's just a matter of getting corporate support. So, do they have enough corporate support to sell suites to the Blues fans and the fans of an NBA team? I tend to think that they would. I think that we have some young startup companies that are growing. I think we have a lot of young professionals coming in. I know there's competition with MLS for that dollar now also. But, I think eventually, maybe not at this very moment, but I think eventually we could support that. St. Louis would get behind that. I certainly.
We shall definitely see. Tom, it's been an incredible time once again to have you on the show. We got to bring you back on for a third time in the nearby future.
Always great chatting with you guys. I loved it. It was great.
Yes, sir. Everyone, this is the Platform Sports Talk Show. Tom, if you don't mind just staying on after the stream ends, do a quick little post-show chat afterwards. But for everyone else, once again, thank you very much for tuning in to the show. Another fun time. Make sure that y'all go ahead and hit that like. If you're on Twitter, that retweet. Make sure y'all go on Facebook, like the page. Go on Instagram, give us a like as well. Definitely on YouTube. Make sure y'all go ahead, and subscribe and click on that
imaginary bell. I left it in the other room. Sorry.
It's all good because anytime we go live, Joe,
you will be notified.
There we go. It's the Platform Sports Talk Show. I am your boy Smooth.
With your girl Bunny.
And Joe Bell.
Special
and
guest.
Tom Ackerman.
There we go.
Hey, baseball.
Got the headsets on. It's a wrap now. It's a wrap. And shouts out to Stan. He'll be back next month. We had an incredible time. With that being said, we out. Right. We out. Ba-da-da-da-da-da.